Hey everybody, this is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine, aka Vulcan Wolverine 2, your boy. It's almost 4 a.m. where I am on what day is it? It's Monday, January 20th, 2020. And I just woke up. Well, I woke up at like midnight, around midnight, and I only did like one live stream on Friday, so I wanted to go ahead and I have this really important article to read. Let me pull up my chat room here. Hey, new type, what you doing, man? And hey, Tim Greenglass, good to see you guys here. I know it's really late or early in the morning wherever you are, but I did just kind of want to, get something productive done, get some important information out there, and have a chat room for you guys to come to and talk. Hey, Gerald, man, how you doing? Good eye to you. Good eye to you, mate. I try and do an Australian accent, but it's not too great. Um, I really hope you guys are doing okay. I'm getting hit with the remote neural manipulation, the V2K, but I did get some good sleep using Dave Case's CD, the less EMF headgear, my grounding, and then the lead hat. And it's too far to grab over there. So I'm using a bunch of defenses and kind of getting through this. So I'd really suggest you guys to use Dave Case CD. I say it all the time. Go to anti-tinnitusb2k.com. So before I get started, and hey Stacy, hey baby, how you doing? Love you. Thank you for coming. I know it's late. I know it's late, so maybe not a lot of people are going to be in chat, but I think y'all are going to enjoy this. And hey Cheryl, how you doing? Oh, I'm glad you guys are here. Okay, I wanted to go through something first before I start on this really important article. I may have to break it up into two live streams because it's a kind of a long article. It's like 20 pages or something like that, but it's really grounded. It's United States Air Force Academy magazine called Space and Defense. So it's really important information in it, and it can give us a larger oversight to why these contractors are experimenting and torturing us, experimenting on us and torturing us. Yeah, thank you for coming. Thanks for coming, Stacy. And hey, Ella Advocate, how are you and your kids doing? I hope y'all are doing okay. I did want to show something first. It's kind of getting me angry. And I was sending Stacy some stuff about it because another targeted individual was sending me stuff about it. It's this guy Omni-Eris. So we know that there are some channels still out there. They're kind of on their last legs, right? Of calling targeted individuals crazy and calling us selfish. I even saw in his chat room, in Omni-Eris's chat room, some person was saying that targeted individuals are really good at gaslighting people. So it seems like the deceit has come full circle where now targeted individuals are getting accused of harassing and stalking people, and we're getting accused of gaslighting. It's a really desperate attempt. Um, it's really a desperate attempt, and I see it though. Like years ago, there were some channels that made fun of targeted individuals, and they had like 50,000 views on a video or whatever. And now I'm seeing these really small channels. They maybe get like 800 views per video, making fun of targeted individuals. And these people are really stupid because we're them. Like we're just people who got targeted by neuro weapons and directed energy weapons. We're people who get gang stalked, and they're next. Like if this doesn't stop, they're up on that, but they're protecting a system that is probably gonna pick them next. And I just wanted to show you all this guy's channel. I'm gonna do some more live streams. I'm gonna actually do some live streams on his videos. I hope that he comes after me. I don't want to make my moderators' jobs hard in the chat, so it may send some people over here. I'm kind of thinking about it, but I do just want to show you all his channel real quick. And what I'd like for targeted individuals to do. So this is the latest video where basically talking smack about Kevin, right? Let me get my tab out. So they got Kevin's ex-girlfriend on, and she's like saying that, Kevin Christian, right? He's done a lot of videos on Kevin Christian, some things from Kevin Christian's past, which a lot of targeted individuals have a past. I've smoked weed before, and I do want to say that with targeting, with this targeting and being put on this list, they do put, drug users and stuff on the list sometimes. It's not all targeted individuals, it's not the vast percentage, but they do put, people who use drugs and stuff on the list because they're easily discredited, right? People can bring up their past and say, oh, well, that's just that V2K is auditory hallucinations because of previous drug use, right? So it seems like this guy is doing that. Now, I don't think Omni Airs, I don't know. I don't know what he is. I don't think he's a cyber stalker. I really think that he just doesn't believe this is him. Well, it's weird. It's like sometimes he'll say, well, I know gang stalking happens, but it happens to bad people. So I'm starting to see this kind of ugly thing rearing its head that I was kind of getting ready for. I was like, okay, well, when people can't deny that this is happening, what are they going to do then? And I thought to myself, I said, well, they're probably going to say, well, this is happening, and targeted individuals are being targeted and gang stalked and maybe hit with directed energy weapons, but they're just bad people. They did something bad and they deserve to be surveilled and tortured 24 hours a day. And I'm kind of seeing that rearing its head with this channel. And he's got this guy, Doc Savage, on, who on one of the videos, and I might show this, Doc Savage was just giggling, and he was like, making fun of targeted individuals kind of gives me a break during the day. It kind of gives me a chance to laugh about things and be silly, because these people are so retarded, right? Calling targeted individuals retarded. Horrifying, because there are women in my chat room with children, and them and their children are being targeted and tortured. So men, women, and children are being targeted and tortured by neuroweapons and directed energy weapons. And this douchebag was laughing about it. He's laughing about it. And then they're cherry picking things, like they're going after Kevin Christian because he had some stuff that happened in his past. Now, I'm not judging Kevin. Like, Kevin Christian is a real targeted individual. We all have a past. It doesn't mean that we should be targeted by neuroweapons and targeted by directed energy weapons. So this is really sad. It's really sad, but the cool thing is, right? The cool thing is, look how many views he has. This was on the 18th. He only has 650 views. So the channels that used to make fun of targeted individuals were like, 60,000 views or whatever. People are finding out that this is happening. And so you just have this little kind of group left. They're so stupid. They're stupid, and they don't realize that this is happening. It could affect them and their families, and they're still trying to protect it and cover it up so that it can hurt them. It can torture them. So what I'm asking y'all to do, what I'm going to ask targeted individuals to do, especially if you want to support Kevin Christian, especially if you like Kevin Christian, just go to this channel. Try and I don't know if we should subscribe to it, but try and see when he's doing a live stream, or just go leave comments on the channel, like after he does the live stream. And I'm not saying to say anything mean. Don't say anything mean. Don't yell or whatever. Just put in links. Just put in links of certain people like James Giordano, Robert Duncan. Let me look up one. I left a comment on one of the videos, and I'll show y'all. But the channel's name is Omni Airs. I just want to show it, and I'm probably going to do a live stream just about this, just about Degeneration Nation. I don't know. I think they're just going to go after whoever they're going to go after, but it really is victimization after victimization after victimization, because we have to be targeted by weapons, gang stalk, and then when we try and tell people or try and get help and try and put information out there, then we have like the scum, the bottom of the barrel. And this Omni Airs guy, like, he has dark circles under his eyes. He admits to using drugs. And he just he doesn't seem like a moral guy. He doesn't care about anything. Seems like the world has just gotten to this crazy point for him where he just wants to make fun of people. Well, that's fine, but people are dying. Like, people are dying in a literal war. So, you making fun of this, maybe even if you believe it, it's still going to convince some people in chat not to do anything about it, or to try and hurt targeted individuals who are already being murdered in their homes. It's very irresponsible. And the way that these guys, Doc Savage and Amieris, just laugh about it all, it really makes me mad. Christian's ex-girlfriend who's talking so much crap about him. So I just wanted to introduce that, and say, maybe take a visit to his channel, put some real links in there. Let me look up this one. Let me look up, you can kind of just see what I'd like you to go over and do. And we're going to check out the Generation Nation. The thing is now, guys, we've got the numbers. Like, more and more target individuals are coming out because they're being targeted. More targeted individuals are being pulled in, right? Plus, more people like, oh no, they're being dumb. Like, this guy Amier should be smart enough to study some of this, to research it, and to actually find target individual channels like mine, like other target individuals, where we're putting forth concrete evidence of agencies doing this kind of activity. It's not like we're not just talking off our heads. Of course, they don't want to do that. Of course, they don't want to do that. What they want to do is they want to cherry pick, and they want to go to TI's channels that are maybe just, talking about it, and aren't showing. Well, Kevin does show evidence. Kevin shows evidence. Hold on one second, guys. Let me get my tablet ready. But I do just want us, because these channels are dwindling. They're really dwindling down. And if we can head over there and leave some comments, leave some good evidence, put Robert Duncan's name, Targeted Justice website and stuff like that. Maybe some of the people who are enjoying it's all these people talking about the same kind of weapons torture. They just somehow they have a good imagination and they're mentally ill. I mean, it's just really stupid. It's really stupid that they would do this, because it is a war. People are dying. I know that some people just are like, hey, everything's so, that's fine, but laugh at the right things. I gave him a thumbs down on this one. Let's see what I wrote here. Okay, so you see right here, I said, guys, check out my channel. TIs are telling the truth. There are weapons programs running with integrated directed energy weapon systems and under the military industrial complex. It's a very serious issue. Men, women, and children are being tortured in their homes. Please research Dr. Robert Duncan and Dr. James U. Doran. So, like, just go and put a comment like that, and try and get his numbers even further down. Because I think when people realize that they're laughing at men, women, and children, innocent men, women, and children being tortured to death, they might not want to come and get into a group and laugh about it. I would even go on a show and debate him about this. It wouldn't be a debate. This is happening. The problem is that we've got to admit, as targeted individuals, right? If this stuff gets so crazy, we get sensitized to it, and maybe sometimes we're a little bit off, being manipulated so much by directed energy and nerve weapon that it feels a little bit different than what another target individual is saying, right? And that's the whole point of it. The whole point of it is to mess with our perceptions and our nervous system and how we feel, what feel is going on. Obviously, be targeted individual, trying to use your brain to like put out the information, and it's being microwaved and manipulated. I mean, you can just get Omni-Air. It's like he's got dark circles under his eyes. He's always like drinking on live, which I drink sometimes on live streams. But it really got to me when the Sky Doc Savage was just laughing, serious things going on in my life, and it's good to just stop every once in a while and laugh at targeted individuals. And it just was soul crushing to me, because I'm like, you're gonna laugh at men, women, and children being tortured, their brains being raped, this really happening all over the world, and you're gonna laugh at it as if it's some kind of pastime, and the little things that he thinks are serious in his life, maybe his job or something like that. What a joke. What a joke compared to a worldwide global neuro war. I mean, just what a joke. So like, I don't know if we should subscribe to this channel. I'm not subscribing to it, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. And I'm going to put some comments. You know, I may go into the chat and put some serious comments in there. We need to we have the numbers. There's more targeted individuals talking about this now. There's more people who know that it's going on. And these guys who are too stupid to understand what's happening in their society, and they just want to point the finger at one person, right? They're just trying to pick out Kevin Christian and go, why does he think he's so special, right? That's what they always say. When there's millions of targeted individuals globally, see, they want to frame the narrative, right? They want to pick one targeted individual, and then in that perception, oh, it's this one person that's saying those crazy things. But that's not what's happening. There are millions of people. They're liars. Either they're double-minded and they don't know what they're doing, or they actually are like cyber stalkers. I kind of think that Omni-Air is just a double-minded person. Like, I don't think he's paid to do this at all or anything like that. I think he thinks it's just fun to laugh at people that he thinks are crazy. The only problem is that these people that he's laughing at and trying to defame are really going through something very, very serious. Weapons attacks, brain attacks, neuro weapons attacks that destroy our lives. So it's not funny. It's not a funny thing. We should laugh at other stuff, but what people need to understand when they're laughing at targeted individuals is it's scary. What they're doing is so retarded that it's scary. It's not funny. And one day, Omni-Air is going to look back on these videos. Probably he'll delete them. You know, when people, people have started to understand this is happening. But he'll be, if he does leave these concrete article, and I'll show y'all what it's from, just to kind of juxtapose these people getting up and just making fun of targeted individuals. And you know, like, Kevin had a rocky past. I've had a rocky past. A lot of targeted individuals have had a rocky past. And they're picked for this program. We're picked for this program for many different reasons. But sometimes it is like, oh, well, this person did drugs or something like that, so they can be discredited. So we're going to start hitting them with neuro weapons and directed energy weapons. And when they tell somebody, well, they have a police record or something, that can discredit what they're saying about the experimentation. So it's very precise sometimes in what they want to do and the people that they pick. So I want to juxtapose that with just concrete information. Let me get to my chat room, guys, and I'll read some of y'all's chats. I think he's been doing it for a long. I think Omni-Air has been doing this for years, even like 5 years ago or 6 years ago when I first started videos. But he had a much bigger following. He had like 30,000, 60,000 views on these videos making fun of targeted individuals. Look at him now. Look at him now. He has like 650 on a video that he made 3 days ago. Look how the tables are turning. We can see what's real in the world, right? What's real in the world it catches hold, the truth. comes out. And then these things that have been such lies for so long, they're dwindling out, and only the retards are left to go and laugh at stuff that's very real. You don't see a lot of people with this live streams because a lot of people have smartened up and they're like, whoa, people are all saying the same things, right? People are all saying the same things about directed energy weapons. They're saying the same things about neuro weapons, and they know it's real. Oh, okay. Cheryl says, I'm cutting in and out. Ella Advocate says, barefoot, it is the category where schizophrenia falls under. Yeah, yeah. Stacy says, let's not give him any attention. Maybe he'll disappear or get tired of it. This might draw more attention to. Well, you know, Stacy, I'm just trying to draw attention to him from targeted individuals. I want more targeted individuals to go to his channel and say, this is happening to me. And for all those people his channel to see how many targeted individuals this is happening. But I do want to cause some friction, right? I want to cause some friction. He has all these like yes men who are like, yeah, that's so crazy. Those target individuals are so crazy. And there's a couple of targeted individuals putting like good information in there, right? I want that to be tipped over to where maybe he stops talking about target individuals. Or he, you know, my deal is this, and hey Wayne, and hey Barefoot, my deal is this. With flat Earth, right? With flat Earth, you had people who really believe that the Earth is flat, and then you had all these scientist people trying to disprove it. So it created a conversation, right? It created a conversation, created attention to the subject. So I feel like any kind of attention that can get to the subject where targeted individuals can get in there because it's really happening, right? We have no fear of a conversation. Like targeted individuals should not ever, we shouldn't ever be like, oh, we don't want to talk about it because it's going to make us seem crazy. We're right, it's happening. It's going to come out that it's happening because it's happening. It's kind of like the flat Earth thing. All these scientists that were saying, no, the Earth's not flat. They had this big discussion. They have all these debates and things like that. And then all this evidence that the Earth is not flat starts coming out, and people can see what's real and what's not, right? So that's a big strength to us since we are telling the truth. Since this is happening, gang stalking happens, neuro weapons torture is happening to me. Directed energy weapon torture is happening to me. It's happening to y'all. So we don't even have to, we don't have to worry about any kind of conversations, any kind of attention to this. People will eventually know, So that's kind of where I'm coming from. But I kind of agree, Stacy. I don't want to give him too much attention where his channel grows or anything like that. But I don't think there's any danger of that. And I do want targeted individuals to be aware so they can kind of see what these people who are trying to discredit us are going to try, Yeah, Ella Advocate says your past shouldn't be a reason for anything, otherwise we'll be in jail. Yeah, people who do crimes should go to jail. They shouldn't be targeted with neuro weapons and directed energy weapons. But yeah, but Stacey, you're right. I mean, we shouldn't give him too much attention. I'm just going to do like one live stream on it. I kind of would. He seems like somebody who he might have me on a show. He might have me on a show because he doesn't seem afraid to like talk to target individuals. I don't know. He might be too scared of me. Nobody really makes fun of my channel because I just put up straight up concrete evidence. I think that that's going to be our best bet, guys, is just putting out concrete evidence, putting out people like the Dr. Duncan and Dr. James G. Dorno. I think still when we talk about it, and it's good to do testimonies, but I think our bread and butter is going to be with just boom, concrete evidence. The way that scientists are writing about this, the way that certain agencies that are doing it are writing about it. And then we do need to do our own testimonies. But the thing is, with your own testimony, if you keep doing it and you don't really take out any documentation, people can discredit it. You know, people can just say it's what you're saying. It's what one person's saying, right? Which I don't think is right. You know, your testimony is true as anything, but that's kind of just what happened. Your PC crashed, Wayne? Yeah, Barefoot says anyone trying to discredit real TI speaking out about it is a freaking gang stalker, gaslight. I think that some of them really don't believe it's happening. I think they're just clutching on to, oh, this isn't happening, or maybe gang stalking's happening, but then these people are crazy and think they're being hit with microwave weapons, right? And that's why they're being gang stalked. There's a lot of confusion. So like people who say this isn't happening aren't always just straight up perverts. You know, they get us on that. They get us on that because some of them talk. They talk and say, oh well, TIs are mentally ill or whatever. Oh, and if you say that it's not happening, then you're a perp. So they're kind of getting us on that. We've got to be realistic. We've got to be realistic. Some of them aren't going to be perpetrators. Who are saying this isn't happening. I kind of think I don't see how anybody could not know that it's happening, yet. It's just so out there. The information's out. So many people are talking about the same thing. The Cuban embassy attack, China consulate attack, many other things, rallies. I don't see how that could be happening. Okay. Stacy says the stream keeps cutting in and out. Okay, so I guess my attackers are finally doing that kind of crap. It's been okay lately, huh? For the last couple of months, it's been okay. Well, y'all just stick with me. I think that my attackers found some way because they did it one night. I used Zoom, right? I used Zoom to connect to YouTube, and I think my attackers have found some way to slow down Zoom so that it's choppy. The connection with YouTube is choppy. Yeah, the guy on my B2K just goes, "Get out of there!" Like he's trying to say something loud. So how bad is it, guys? Can y'all hear anything I'm saying? I have something very important. They're not trying to stop me because I'm talking about Omni Airs. I have a very important document. It's going to take probably like 2 or 3 live streams to go through, and I'll read some of y'all's chats so we can hang out. But I need to get through it. It's so important. I'm going to put it in the description and everything. And it's just concrete information from Air Force Academy about neuroweapons and neurowarfare in society and the training and research and development of these weapons. So let me go ahead and pull it up. Let me read some more of y'all's comments real quick. I look at Omni Airs and he's a smart guy and he does research on stuff. He does a lot of research. So I do kind of question if he's like a cyber stalker, if maybe he does work for one of these organizations like Infragar or something like that. And they're like, hey, you need to make YouTube videos to kind of discredit this because he's a smart guy. Like he's a funny, smart guy. I hate him because he's doing that with this when women and children are being tortured. But it doesn't make too much sense to me. Why he's saying that this isn't happening. He should have already figured out that it is happening by now. And people should know that when people's brains are being microwaved and they're being neurologically manipulated, they're going to sound a little bit crazy sometimes because we use our brain to speak and to think and to act. So people should be putting it together that when people's brains are tortured and meddled with, and then they're harassed all day, yeah, they're going to seem out of sorts. It should be an obvious one-to-one thing. An obvious one-to-one thing. And hey, Future, and hey, Native. Future Knowledge says, let me go back up. Future Knowledge says, you're right, Kyle. Not everybody in society knows to even be a perpetrator to begin with. Yeah, I agree. I think there's just a lot of confusion sometimes. But there are a lot of perpetrators out there. There are people who get paid to come into chat rooms, to make YouTube videos discrediting us. I mean, that's just a fact. The community-placed agents who gang stalk, if you have a propensity for like online activity or computers or the internet or 4chan or YouTube or any of those things, then they'll give you an opportunity to do crap like that because it's in the gang stalker handbook. Like it's in that gang stalking handbook that Dr. Ronnie Kilda put out. And hey, Tim Greenglass. Tim Greenglass says, I think after being stalked for reals, it's become easy to suspect everyone and everything of maybe being part of it when it's not. We begin to gang stalk ourselves due to prior traumas and fears. I'd say that's exactly right. We get sensitized. We start thinking everybody's in on it. Like, I'll guarantee you that when I go out and I get footage of one light cars, some of those one light vehicles are just people who have not fixed their headlights. But mixed within that, there is a protocol in VHS Fusion Center to drive one light vehicles to intimidate the person of interest or the target, to intimidate them and harass them, let them know that they're being watched. So it all gets mixed in, right? It's just mass confusion, which is the name of the thing here. Okay, Barefoot says, so right, Tim Greenlass and Vulcan. So basically, all gang stalkers are evil, but not all evil people are gang stalkers. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, and then some people, like, when they don't know what's going on and they're confused and they're desperate, they do evil stuff. Their actions don't make sense, right? Okay, let me get to the important information, guys. Ella Advocate says they get paid to tell single moms denied housing services that they need to take kids away or to hurt themselves to get an appointment. Lucky I'm stronger than that. They look really stupid anyway. Yeah, I can't imagine what you're going through, Ella. Just stay strong and just do things the right way. We do things the right way, work outside the system, within the system. God's going to give us strength. God's going to give us miracles. Hey, nobody, I didn't see you in here. Yeah, let's get to this information. Hey, Jack. Jack says, that is the purpose, to isolate with paranoia. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so they're really messing with my live stream. Yeah, I have this. I'm gonna put the article up in the description, guys. No, Barefoot Sungazer, you say desperate for what though? To be mean? No, when people get scared and they don't know what's going on in their society, and there's all these mass shootings, and then they're told that somebody may be dangerous and may be capable of mass shooting or got away with a crime or whatever, they get desperate and scared, and they'll do stuff to that person based on lies, right? So really desperate people. So my audience, yeah, my attackers found some way into Zoom. It took them a while. It took them a couple of months, but that's what my attackers do, guys. They don't just freeze up my computer. They're very meticulous, and they have a lot of patience. Like, they'll be doing stuff to me all the time, but then, like with this live stream, what they did is they studied Zoom, and they found out how to get into the back door, the software for Zoom, connected to YouTube, and they took their time on it so they could strike. My attackers do that with everything. It's like this build. I don't want to say they're smart because they've been there for such a long time, but they do some stuff that is just mind-boggling. And one time, like a long time ago, I called them. I was like, y'all are just dunderheaded, you just meat-headed people, and you're ham-fisted with your terrorism and your torture. And I think that, I don't know. I don't think that one thing, when I said it a bunch, pissed them off, but it seems like, I don't know. I thought my attackers were like ex-military and didn't know anything about the brain, and really were kind of just untrained monkeys pushing buttons. But and I'm not sure about this, but what Brian too says about psychiatrists and neuroscientists and people with those kind of credentials who know the brain and stuff like that, being on the hive mind team, I'm starting to kind of wonder what kind of training they have, what kind of background in researching the brain, because they've done stuff to me that's like, it took them a long time, but they intertwine the R&M now, and for a while I didn't really know, but they'll make it seem exactly like my thoughts or my instincts. I've figured a lot of it out. It's kind of breaking the spell, but they sneak in there, right? They sneak in there while you're paying attention to this other thing. It's very, very, I don't want to say scary because we shouldn't be scared. It's just the ultimate rape. It is the ultimate rape in the universe that's ever been created. I mean, somebody's brain and their personality. Just awful. Ella Advocate says, my advice to any TIs is do not have kids in this world. Children are wonderful. They don't deserve this. If I knew, I would have I would have chosen not to. I sometimes wonder. I kind of do. I don't know. I was thinking maybe like if I can't have kids, maybe adopt. So you adopt a child who's already born into this world to a good family. But I think about that a lot too, Ella. I'm sure your kids are going to be strong though, Ella. You'll teach them to get through this stuff, and this will pass through in society to the other side where this technology can't just be used at random like this to kill a bunch of people. We got to get there and then see what's on the other side of this. A lot of people are saying it's going to get worse, a lot more corruption, the system is going to become more corrupted. I just hope not. I hope not. And I think if we're good people in this world, we have to fight for a better future, for civilization, for belief in God, for these things, these spiritual things in humanity that will help us evolve, right? And not devolve. Like, because I think the proliferation of AI and the evolution of AI and murdering people to make AI evolve and stuff like that, amongst other things, it's the de-evolution of humanity. Because when humans do evil stuff, they devolve. We're supposed to go towards compassion. We're supposed to go towards empathy. That's our evolutionary path. It's the evolutionary path where you can, because when you understand pain, right? Animals don't understand pain, so they kill each other. They don't get it. But human beings, you can understand with your conscience what it feels like to be tortured or raped. So when you do it, it goes against your conscience, developing and evolving. It goes against the path that we're supposed to go on. I just know it. I just know it for a fact. Wayne Moore says, filming will lower your energy. I say that to spare you the worry. Yeah, I mean, get evidence if you feel like you should get evidence, but if it starts becoming a drain on you, like Wayne's saying, take a break from it. Do something else. If it's fun, if it empowers you, if it's good for you, because people are kind of different. Some people, it's like, oh man, this is just filming this all the time. It's a waste, and I'm just, get your evidence. Do it every once in a while. If it empowers you, keep doing it. It's just, people are different, Wayne. Like I got in the same way. Just doing all the one light vehicles just tires me out. I'm like, oh, this is just, I'm not going to do this anymore. But I might do it sometimes. Collect as much evidence as you can, and then say, okay, I got enough now. Maybe get some along the way. But if you're filming everything they do every second of the day, it's going to tire you out. Hey, Mischievous M says, this is MTI Strategy Guy. This is my observation channel that I'm right now. But figured people could use this. Okay. Thank you, Mischievous M. So Mischievous M says, on my guide channel, there is a frequency vid that removes radiation from cells. It's in the meditation playlist. Use the bone conduction headphones with that. Okay. Sounds like a good idea. Yeah. Ella Advocate says, I have lots of evidence, but 5G takes 2 days to upload. I can't be bothered. Yeah. Uploading stuff is a real hassle. Like I did that phone video, and it took like 3 hours to upload on the computer. My attackers, they come in different ways. I know what they're doing, and maybe I'm wrong, but they don't want to be too obvious about what they're doing, like to sabotage me, because then it'd be obvious to y'all, and y'all would be like, oh yeah, he's a TI. They're doing something that's really straightforward. So they hook it and they come underneath and they do all this stuff. So it screws me over, but really it's not apparent. I guess it is when they when they make the video choppy. They're just really, my attackers have been doing this for so long. They're really subtle and they have a lot of patience now, which is, it's creepy. It's very creepy. It's like a serial killer mentality that they have, and they can wait on stuff and do it a long time, keep the same protocol going to try and really push my beliefs on stuff. That's one thing that they really want to do. If they're pushing your beliefs on something about what's happening, about what's affecting you, and for some of the things in your life, they'll keep pushing that thing that you're not certain is them. I don't want to go into details, but I've just been, yeah, lately it's been really, really just, just to another level. Okay, let's go ahead and start with this, man. Stacy says, thanks, Eminem. Yeah, thanks, Eminem. So Eminem has mischievous M. Oh, the sound's gone. Stacy says the sound's gone for you. So you guys can't hear me anymore? Can anybody else hear me? Yeah, Wayne says Brian needs to stop saying we cannot be allowed to survive this. Yeah, we're gonna survive. We can survive this. Yeah, Brian gets a little bit too far into like we're all dead. And they'd never allow a target individual to survive. But he does have some good information. Yeah, Wayne. Stacy goes, the sound's gone for me, and Wayne was like, "It's okay. It's okay. You don't need to hear what Kyle's saying." No, I know you weren't saying that, Wayne. I was just making a joke. Hey, Ninja, what's up, man? Eminem. Yeah, L. Advocate says they like to rewrite history beginning with the smear campaign. Okay, guys, let me go to this really important article. This is huge. I'm going to show y'all what magazine it comes from. And I've got the chat room open on my tablet so I can read y'all's comments. And we'll just kind of go through it. It's like 4:35 here. We'll go till like 6 or 6:30. We'll go for like 2 hours, I'm thinking. And then I'll just do some on the next one because it's kind of long, but it's really, really important information. So I got my tablet up. Let me take a drink of my yeah, LA good information and stuff like that. He's getting targeted really bad, and sometimes that just it really informs how we think things are going to go. How bad our personal targeting is. It informs how we see the big picture turn out sometimes, so Wayne Moore says, I've got the sweats off the Red Rooster Elk. What's up, Drunken Ninja? Drunken Ninja says, sup Wayne, sup Kyle, and Wolverines. How can you just call me the Wolverines? The Wolverines. Okay, so new type can't hear. So some of you guys can't hear. Let's do a sound check. Can all of you guys hear me right now? Can y'all hear me? I may have to mess with my mic on my webcam. It's no good for me. So Wayne can't hear me. Tim can. So Tim can hear me. Wayne can. Is it just cutting in and out, or is it just cutting off completely? Try and reload the video. Just reload the video if you can't hear me. Stacy, can you hear me? Baby, can you hear me? It's choppy and delayed a bit. Okay. Nobody can hear. Wayne says testing, testicles. Okay, let's get started on it. I hope that you guys, I know why they're doing this. This is a very important article, and I know that they're trying to cut me out for this, because I'm going to show you what magazine it's from, and then I'm going to keep putting out a bunch of information like this. So this is from Space and Defense magazine. It's an article called Attack on the Brain, Neurowars and Neurowarfare by Armin Krishnan. This is volume 9, number 1, spring of 2016. It's from the Eisenhower Center for Space and Defense Studies. The Space and Defense Magazine, Journal of the United States Air Force Academy, Eisenhower Center for Space and Defense Studies, right? It's a very serious magazine, and they know exactly what's happening within the military-industrial complex in the military, and what the armed forces, Air Force, Marines, Navy, Army, they know exactly the kind of weapons that they're using, and they know exactly the kind of weapons that they want to advance. And they want to advance these directed energy weapons, and specifically neuroweapons, as anti-personnel weapons. So anti-personnel weapons to a crowd, anti-personnel weapons to an individual. And that's what part of our experimentation and torture is, we're the individual being experimented on. Jack says, I have intel from Origin Labs in communist China and Russia. The Chinese are apparently way better at it. Yeah, I think the Chinese experiment on more of a percentage of their population. I really do. I think that America, well, the non-lethal weapons market reports say that America is number 1, then Israel, then China, then Russia, then England. But I could see where China just chops up its own people more than even America does. And Russia would be behind because Russia's banned these weapons, so it has to be more careful about its experimentation on its own citizens. But I could see that, Jack. I could see where China is kind of getting ahead in the weapons race or whatever. Hey, Awaken World. Yeah, okay. So Awaken World said the link to this. What are you reading? Let me put the link. Let me put the link in the chat, guys, so you guys can follow along. Okay. It's a PDF, so let me know. Yeah, and especially if y'all can't hear me, if my sound keeps going out. Yeah, if my sound keeps going out, this is the link to the PDF, and I'll put it in again. I'm going to put it in the description too, so you guys can follow along. Yeah, okay. Let us begin, because it's kind of long. So, and I'll try and stop and read some of y'all's text. I already got to use the bathroom. My attacker would make me have to use the bathroom. Okay. So, Attack on the Brain, Neurowars and Neurowarfare by Armin Krishnan. Is neurotechnology leading nation states toward a new domain of war? And yes, I mean, the experimentation is a war in itself, and these weapons are being used in actual, combat overseas and combat where combat's happening. Neuroscience is on the verge of deciphering the human brain. As a result, brains will become a part of the battlefield against which attacks will be directed. A neuroscientist, James Giordano, argued the brain is the next battle space. It is foreseeable that this will have tremendous implications for warfare and could amount to a true military revolution in the sense of military historian Williamson Murray. It would completely change the characteristics of conflict as well as transform state and society. Neuroscience will lead to the development of neuroweapons which can remotely manipulate mental states. So let's read that again. Neuroscience has already led to, so this is like saying it's in the future, but we know because we're being tortured and experimented on by neuroweapons, so we know it can already do this, and it's doing this every day to people in communities all over the world, and then false flagging them, harassing them, saying they're mentally ill, so forth, to cover up the experimentation. So neuroscience will lead to the development of neuroweapons which can remotely manipulate mental states, emotions, perceptions, thinking, and behavior of adversaries. As argued by Vladimir Putin, such high-tech weapon systems will be comparable in effect to nuclear weapons, but will be more acceptable in terms of political and military ideology, i.e. they won't destroy buildings and such, just people, right? So they can keep infrastructure. And that's a really big important thing for the military, because they want to keep the infrastructure after they murder all the people who live there, so they can put new people there, do whatever they want with it. In a coming age of neurowarfare, traditional military conflict may no longer take place or may become ancillary to the goal of psychologically manipulating or subverting enemy leaders and even entire societies. States and other actors could be coerced with no resort to open violence, and conflicts could be suppressed before they can ever break out. At the same time, neurotechnologies and sophisticated methods of psychological influencing could also be used offensively against enemy societies with the goal of collapsing the enemy internally rather than physically destroying them. Does that sound like something that's maybe happening to America, that's maybe happening to Russia, that's maybe happening to China, that's maybe happening to Australia, that's maybe happening to New Zealand, that's maybe happening to England? Is all the citizens being targeted with these weapons, and then other citizens harassing them and getting neighbors fighting against each other and suspecting each other. That's trying to destroy a country from the inside, right? Like in Captain America Civil War, the bad guy Baron Zemo said, if a country is attacked by outside forces, it can survive. But a country that destroys itself from the inside, that's dead. You know, so that's the new way of wars, to destroy countries from the inside. Civil wars, right? Okay, you guys can hear now. Cool. Okay. Okay. Yeah. This is a really long article, so I kind of want to get through it, guys. Where was I? Okay. At the same time, neurotechnologies and sophisticated methods of psychological influencing could also be used offensively against enemy societies with the goal of collapsing the enemy internally rather than physically destroying them. In the worst case, neuroscience and neuroscience and technology. So when you see neuro S/T, it means neuroscience and technologies. Could be abused for torture. We're being tortured. Targeted individuals are being tortured with these weapons. So it is being abused for torture and experimentation, genocide, and high-tech repression. It's also being used for high-tech repression, right? Because what do they do to whistleblowers? They repress them. They use these weapons on them. They make them look crazy. High-tech repression. So these are torture, genocide, and high-tech repression already being used for that. Already being used for that. Neuroweapons have proliferated worldwide, and they are already being used for that. The ethical implications of brain and mind manipulation are inescapable. Yeah, it's the worst form of rape ever invented. It's inescapable, and would require a wider debate. Yeah, and debate is what we need. So y'all see what I'm saying earlier? It doesn't matter who's saying this isn't happening or what. We need to debate it. It's happening. So we don't have to ever fear talking about this, because it's happening. So it's going to come out. Like anything that's not true, people usually find out it's not true. And anything that's true, when it's talked about enough, people start to find out that it's happening. I mean, it's as simple as that, right? If it wasn't happening, then probably we wouldn't want to talk to anybody. But it's happening. You know, it's happening to us. However, the purpose of this paper is to introduce the concept of neurowarfare in its two basic meanings. One, the application of neuroscience and technology to warfare and security, and two, neurowarfare as war in neurospace, an emerging and distinctive domain of war, where combat may take place and victory may be achieved. Now think about where we fight targeted individuals. We fight in a neurospace. Like the other night, I was, my remote neural manipulation was so bad, putting whole lines of thought in my head, which then would kind of subside because I'd be like, oh, that's not me. So I was going to war. I'm at war all the time with the V2K, the psychic driving. And it doesn't seem like a war because I'm not moving, but I'm fighting all the time. I'm fighting all the time these external forces that are being shot to my vestibular system and my nervous system and my brain. It's a 24-hour-day war. I don't think anybody would disagree with that who's in chat. It's a 24-hour-a-day war for targeted individuals. There are people who aren't going through this full-fledged or non-TIs. We're all being targeted in this world some way. You need to understand how bad this is. And when somebody maybe looks out of sort or isn't explaining it exactly right, you need to understand why, because of what's being done to them. And people need to stop saying, oh, well, they're not explaining everything and giving me the best evidence that they could give me. And, oh, maybe they said this and this sounds left field. Just understand that it's happening, what's happening, and you can understand why somebody would maybe be acting out of sorts. It's very easy. Okay, so neurowarfare as war in neurospace, an emerging and distinctive domain of war, where combat may take place and victory may be achieved. The paper will therefore outline some of the neuroscience and technology applications relevant to war and conflict. Secondly, it will sketch and define the new emerging domain of war. Finally, it is argued that a neurowarfare strategy is needed for coming to terms with issues related to targeting, deterrence, and threshold to war before neuroweapons are introduced. And it's too late. Neuroweapons have already been introduced. I don't know if this person writing this article really does not know that they've been introduced. That's interesting that they're saying that all these things need to be morally sussed out. All these things need to be morally thought about before we introduce neuroweapons into society. Does the military industrial complex ever ask the public about using something as a weapon? Have we ever known that to happen when something's and it's a weapon, right? This exists, and we're saying, well, hey, we need to morally think about how this is going to affect people before the military industrial complex using it. Yeah, right. The military industrial complex has been using this since right after World War II. These new hearing aids are giving me some trouble. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so military neuroscience. Military brain and behavioral research goes back to at least the 1920s and dramatically expanded in the US in the 1950s because of the desire to understand communist brainwashing and to develop methods that surpass those of the communist mind program. The artichoke slash MK Ultra documents of the early 1950s to the early 1960s leave no doubt that the CIA and the US military aimed for the hypnotic and physical control of enemy minds, both in the context of intelligence operations as well as in psychochemical warfare operations directed against entire societies. Although these efforts were apparently not particularly successful, there has been since 2001 in the aftermath of 9/11 a renewed interest by DARPA and other agencies to develop and leverage brain research for the national security sector. And that's why they're doing this to us. And there's a whole bunch of different angles to silencing whistleblowers, feeding us to DHS fusion centers and InfraGard, and feeding us to the NSA surveillance state, so they'll have people to surveil, right? But I think everybody in America is surveilled at this point. Pretty much in other countries, it's becoming like that too. But that's a huge reason, right? I got to read that again. Since 2001, in the aftermath of 9/11, a renewed interest. It was always an interest. They were always experimenting. 9/11 allowed them to do worse things and say, we need to do this. We need to experiment on more people for national security. We need to mind control innocent citizens and do false flags and do all this stuff for national security. So 9/11 opened that. Like I heard TC the other night say, what happened, the Patriot Act after 9/11 was really written before 9/11. And he's saying that's why he's targeted. And that's why most of us are targeted. 9/11 opened up this doorway, and we all know that, where they can, control people more. They can do more false flags. They can get neighbors against neighbors and everything like that. And everybody's scared, right? That's what I'm talking about desperate and scared people. When you got a lot of desperate and scared people that just had 2 buildings blow up, or just got 2 buildings torn down, they want blood. They're scared. They want to protect their families. And they end up doing the wrong thing if the leadership of this country, the leadership of Israel, actually did that false flag to get everybody scared. So then when they're scared, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this, and then it just adds on to it, right? It adds more chaos and more chaos so that they can have more control at the top, the Hegelian dialectic, right? A renewed interest by DARPA and other agencies to develop and leverage brain research for the national security sector. This was also encouraged by new brain imaging technology developed and perfected in the 1990s, such as fMRIs. And that's not the whole story. That's not the whole story there, because there's microwaves have been being used to actually read the brain, read and write to the brain through implants from like 1952. So in 1952, the CIA had Project Moonstruck, which could, with implants, send microwave signals to people's bodies and brains. So think about what's happened, since 1952, how that technology is developed, and then include infrasound and ultrasound like fMRIs that have given neuroscientists unprecedented insights into the processes occurring inside a living human brain. Hey, thanks, Brock. Are you in the chat, Brock? Brock just texted me. Yeah, Stacy says, I get visions, images too. I do too. I get visions and images sent to my head, sent to my visual cortex. I was telling Stacy that like now it's like my attackers like interfere with my visual cortex. So it's like I'll be trying to picture something, I can kind of picture it, but it's not as clear and crisp as it once was. So it's like they're sending frequencies to like interfere with me using my visual cortex, because they kind of know I have a good imagination. And if I'm allowed, my brain's allowed to just kind of go freely, I'll think of a lot of different things. So they kind of just try and shut down my brain sometimes, which is, I keep wanting to say scary tonight, which is awful, which is just awful. So perfected in the 1990s, such as fMRIs, that have given neuroscientists unprecedented insights into the processes occurring inside a living human brain. Bioethicist John Moreno drew attention to the topic of military neuroscience through his 2006 book, Mind Wars. So I have not read that. Maybe some of you guys have read that. Guys and gals have read that. I think I need to read that, though. Which also discussed some of the related ethical issues. Since then, the DIA commissioned a National Research Council study on military applications of neuroscience research in 2008, and the U.S. Army commissioned another study on neuroscience opportunities for the Army in 2009. This was followed by a Royal Society study on neuroscience, conflict, and security published in 2012. These studies mostly highlighted potential contributions of neuroscience and technology to human enhancement, strategic intelligence, security and interrogation, and neuroscientific methods of influencing an adversary, right? They want to know how to mind control people. They want to know how to influence somebody who they consider an adversary. When we're talking about an adversary, though, we're not necessarily talking about a terrorist, right? In a tyrannical form of government, the adversary would be the person telling the truth. An adversary would be a whistleblower, right? So adversary depends on who's in charge. So that's a very scary thing when they're using this technology on people who are non-compliant, who are good people, who they may see as a danger in getting out some of these awful truths that are happening in society, which is definitely an angle of this. And it's a definite angle silencing dissidents, whistleblowers, people who are trying to get out the truth. Okay. So, where was I here? Okay. And neuroscientific methods of influencing an adversary. In 2013, Special Operations Command, or SOCOM, announced the creation of a Center for Excellence in Operational Neuroscience at Yale University, which did not go ahead because of the controversy over using neuroscience research for interrogation and the ethical risks inherent in such research. So why are they just torturing and experimenting on millions of people around the globe? And here in America, why are contractors attached to the DOD and the NSA and the CIA doing experimentation that the public doesn't know about? Why are they hiding it? Why are they calling us crazy? Because look, they tried to do stuff in the open, right? Tried to do the Center for Excellence in Operational Neuroscience at Yale University, which did not go ahead because of the controversy over using neuroscience research for interrogation and ethical risks inherent in such research. So people that are asking, well, why doesn't the public know about this? Why is it the government's experimenting on your brain and torturing you? Why aren't they telling the public? Duh, because the public would not be okay with it if it was anything out in the open that they had to get passed through public agencies that are transparent to the public. It wouldn't go through because it's unethical. I mean, think about what they do to us. They rape our genitals with microwaves, use neuroweapons to manipulate our brains like over many years and try and dig in further to our brains and our white matter tracts. This is completely unethical. It's actually the most unethical thing that's ever been done in human history. So of course it's not going to pass through any kind of public group that's transparent to the public. No way. So that's why they do this, and that's why they've been doing this since World War II, maybe even before. That's why they hide it, and they try and deliberately make targeted individuals look like they're schizophrenic or look like they're delusional, because then they can be discredited. And it can keep going on. But at this point, it's getting silly because people know this is happening. All the people who are saying it's happening are talking about the same kind of weapons attacks. There's no way that the thing about mass hysteria, some kind of imaginative mass hysteria that people came up with on their own because there's more technology in society, that's a delusional thought. That is the biggest conspiracy theory nonsense delusional thought that I've ever heard in my life on this earth. That people, just because there was new technology in the world, they all started thinking they were being attacked by directed energy weapons. Have you ever heard something so absurd? I mean, have you ever? Yeah, Stacy says missing autumn too. Yeah, Wayne says autumn is amazing. Autumn is amazing. Is she okay, guys? Yeah, Native says praying for you, Autumn. Miss and love you, sister. Yeah, Autumn, we really miss you. Really love you. I think I saw her, like, not my last live stream, but the live stream before. I hope she's okay. Yeah, Drunken Ninja says, hi, Autumn. Like, anybody who knows her and is in contact with her, make sure she's okay. Yeah, Stacy says, we need Tanya, too. Tanya might be sleeping. It's like 5 in the morning where I am, so probably a lot of the people who usually come are maybe asleep. Hey, Lori. Lori says I have asteroidal hyalosis and now see asteroids. That's a lens in your eye they put there. No longer see double. Have 20/20 with glasses. Legally blind out. Yeah, Wayne Moore says, hey, Autumn, we love you, mate. Jack says, I bet Brian is fun to hang out with. I've talked to Brian on the phone, like we're friends and stuff. We haven't talked on the phone in a long time. He's a good guy. He's a really good guy. I mean, he's on a mission though. Like he's on a mission to get people knowing about this, to survive being targeted. So I mean, that's what he does. He tries to get away from it. He tries to get asylum. I mean, he has a goal. I don't want to say mission because that sounds military, and he's a targeted individual. But he has a goal to survive this, to document it, to get asylum, to get away from it, to tell other targeted individuals about it. So I don't know. Sometimes it's hard for us to have fun. I guess a lot of people who know me probably wouldn't call me fun. I used to be very fun. I used to be like the fun guy at the party, like the jokey, laughy, fun guy at the party. Um, I will be again. We'll have fun. We'll have fun. We're having fun now reading this article right here. Super fun. Hey, Ann. Hey, Virgie. Okay, let me go on with this because it's really long. Okay. However, it is mostly civilian. Oh, okay. However, it is mostly civilian, academic, and commercial research that is currently driving the advancement of neuroscience. And that is a lie. The article just told a big lie. It's told a couple, and then it says, however, it is mostly civilian, academic, and commercial research that is currently driving the advancement of neuroscience. That's complete and utter lie. The real driving force is DARPA and the Pentagon, NSA, CIA, DIA, and then the DoD, and then contractors underneath them doing all these experiments in torture. That's what's really driving neuroscience. Then those advancements in training, research, and development and advancements of the weapons, they then trickle out into the medical community through specific hospitals that are connected with the military industrial complex the most, and consumer things like Google, Facebook. I'm sure there's a lot of other examples, Elon Musk. Things are trickled out to those guys in a consumer type market. That's a lie right there. President Obama announced the American Brain Initiative in April 2013 that aims to revolutionize our understanding of the brain. The president explained that it will be a long-term scientific effort comparable to the Human Genome Project, and that it could impact the lives of not millions, but billions of people on this planet. The plan is to spend $100 million in federal money and $200 million in private sector money on neuroscience research for 10 years. So that's just added in to what the military industrial complex and all the contractors were already doing. It was basically to give contractors more money and maybe jumpstart new contractors to do this stuff. But it was putting hundreds of millions of dollars into a already billions of dollar industry around the world. And here in America, there's probably over $10 billion, in these contractors and the weapons and stuff like that. Not really good with money, so I couldn't say, but over $1 billion. I don't want to say like $100 billion, but like definitely over like $10 billion. Could be more than that. Could be more than $10 billion. I need to go through some of those non-lethal weapons market reports and get some figures from there. The project will be led by the National Institutes of Health, the National Science Foundation, and DARPA, in conjunction with private sector partners such as Allen Institute for Brain Science, the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, the Kavli Foundation, and the Salk Institute for Biological Studies. According to the White House, the Brain Initiative will accelerate the development and application of new technologies that will enable researchers to produce dynamic pictures of the brain that show how individual brain cells and complex neural circuits interact at the speed of thought. These technologies will open new doors to explore how the brain records, processes, uses, stores, and retrieves vast quantities of information, and shed light on the complex links between brain function and behavior, right? So check out the end of that. They want to know a lot about brain function and behavior, and they also want to manipulate brain function to manipulate behavior. Say we do this in the brain of a certain person with a certain type of personality. What will it get them to do? What will it get them to think? What kind of actions will it get them to take? Well, what if we manipulate this brain function and this person who's been tortured? We want to get them to commit suicide. Let's see how fast we can get them to commit suicide, or let's see if they will. Let's see if they'll walk themselves to death, right? So this Brain Initiative was putting money into front companies like that are connected to the military industrial complex, just putting more money into something that already had billions of dollars in it. This neuroscience funding comes on top of the normal research funding in related disciplines and commercial research funded by major corporations in the health and IT communication sector. I don't know why they're not talking. I guess it's, you know, it's in national security that the DoD, the NSA, the CIA, the DIA, under the Pentagon, and then all the contractors under them are just doing full scale experimentation. So any of these articles, they have to kind of stay away from saying what's really happening in our lying society, in our deceitful, awful lying society. The great importance of private sector research is indicated by the tremendous growth in neuroscience patents that are mostly filed by corporations. In 2010 alone, 800 neurotechnology patents have been filed. A doubling of patents per, in 2010 alone, 800 neurotechnology patents have been filed. A doubling of patents per year from the previous decade. Interestingly, most patents were filed by the marketing research company Nielsen and by software giant Microsoft, which shows that neurotechnology has already gone beyond medical applications and is poised to proliferate across society. It was before medical applications, before consumer technology, weapon. People know that as common knowledge. That is common knowledge. Any new technology, the military-industrial complexes of many nations will take that technology and see how it can be used for a weapon. So I don't know what they're trying to do here and say, oh, well, it's consumer products, and now it's going to proliferate into maybe the military-industrial. No, everything starts out as a weapon, any new technology. The internet was first. It was created by, I think, IARPA, right? IARPANET, to see if they could use it as communications for soldiers in war. Internet was given to us after they used it as a weapon, saw what it could be used for as a weapon, then got something more advanced, then they gave us the internet. They trickled out the internet to the public, right? So I don't know what this crud is about, like, oh, the consumer market's like really figuring out a lot about neurotechnologies, and then maybe the military industrial complex will grab it up. That's what Glenn Beck said. Glenn Beck was like, oh, what Facebook and Google now have mind reading technologies. I wonder if the military industrial complex is going to grab it up from them. Are you dumb? Like, is he dumb? Like, the military industrial complex ain't going to let anybody have any kind of mind reading technologies before it gets done with it. Like, people are thinking backwards nowadays. And that's why, I mean, that's why people say everything's inverted. Things really are inverted because people are thinking backwards. That's the people in power want us thinking backwards. They want what they put out at the end of experimenting and torturing people for many, many decades. And people go, oh, that's new. It just came out. I wonder if the military is going to use that after the military has been just torturing and ripping up people for decades with this stuff. I hope the military doesn't get to it because it's out in society now. I mean, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Yeah, Stacy says they want to turn people into killers too. Yeah. Cheryl says on a conference call, someone was talking about it. They basically told her to shut up. She was bringing everybody down. I think she was just reaching out. I think that was rude. I wasn't there for that. Hey, Diana. Yeah, Stacy, I'm feeling pretty sick too. You guys got to use Dave Case's CD, everybody. You got to get on that where you can like use it every night. It just makes such a difference for me. Like, I still fight this stuff. It's still, I get remote neural manipulation and some bad stuff, but it's bearable. Like, I can get on these videos, I can do things, I can go out shopping, and I have some energy because of Dave Case's CD and other things too. Man, I just really want to encourage y'all to do that. Just everybody. I've been, Stacy's been trying to use it. It's kind of an annoying thing, and you don't hear your alarm when you wake up. So I'm not just telling you, Stacy, to use it. I'm just telling everybody. But, oh, Diana says the guy who strangled me for a year and a half used to talk about how he always brought high vibes wherever he went. Speaking of inversion, yeah, yeah, it's like evil is cool now or something like that, and good people are just like weak and stupid. I mean, that's how society kind of it's starting to be seen in society. There's just a lot of inversion in society. Hey, thank you, El says, thanks, Kyle. We appreciate all that you do. Yeah, I'll read some more of y'all chats later, but I'm going to get through. Let's see what page we're on. We're on 06. Yeah, we got a ways to go. I'm really going to use the bathroom. Okay. Similar efforts of unlocking the brain are underway across the world. For example, the European Union has inaugurated a similar neuroscience research effort called the Human Brain Project. You know who's at the head of that? Dr. James Giordano is at the head of that Human Brain Project. So he definitely knows about the experimentation. He talks about opening a can of worms. He talks about cutting corners in the race and doing immoral things. So he definitely knows, and even talks about it in his presentations, that he gets targeted individuals calling him, saying something's been implanted in them, saying that they're being targeted, saying that their mind's being targeted. And then he goes off, because he's an advisor to the Pentagon on neuroscience and neuroweapons. He goes off and he helps England with or Europe with their the Human Brain Project. So that started in October 2013. The EU pledged to spend 1 billion euros over 10 years to gain fundamental insights into what it means to be human, develop new treatments for brain diseases, and build revolutionary new information and communications technologies. Canada has joined the race with an announcement of dedicating $100 million over 5 years to brain research. In 2014, Japan launched the Brain/Minds Initiative, which also seeks to map the brain. Overall, it has been estimated that public and private sector neuroscience and technology investment is around 150 billion annually worldwide. Y'all heard that? Overall, has been estimated that public and private sector neuroscience and technology investment is around 150 billion annually worldwide. I doubt that's even including what the NSA, the CIA, the Pentagon, the DoD, the DIA, DARPA put into brain research and experimentation on us, because they can't talk about those agencies, right? A private company that's not a contractor, that's not affiliated with the DoD or anything like that, it's like, oh, they're doing this brain thing. That's usually trickled out from there, and they can talk about that in articles. But if this guy talked about any of the stuff that the DoD was doing in this article, he'd get in trouble, because it's national security. You can be put in jail for talking about the experimentation and torture being done to normal citizens, while they false flag us with gang stalking and harassment and vehicular stalking. Most worryingly, it is projected that Asia and South America will outspend the United States and its Western allies by 2020. Neuroscience and technology could proliferate to non-state actors, including criminal organizations, terrorist groups, and even individuals, and may result in novel security and criminal threats. The only people creating such novel security and criminal threats are these agencies: the DoD, the DIA, the CIA, the NSA, the FBI, the Pentagon over them, and the contractors under these people. They're the only ones creating whole-scale worldwide terrorism of children, men, women, and children in their homes. This is bull. It's bull that they're like, oh, and eventually some terrorists are going to grab these weapons and then it's all going to be over. Normal people are going to get hurt. And then target individuals like, hey, we're being murdered. We're being murdered by some contractors and stuff. Oh, shut up, mentally ill person. We're going to wait till some dirty terrorist attack some some person and it's all public and then they're a hero, the person that got hit by the terrorists. We're sitting here going, hey, we're being murdered by this stuff. Oh, shut up, crazy. Shut up, crazy. Because they want to protect who's in power, right? The people in power, the military industrial complex are killing men, women, and children. They hit pregnant women and shit with this stuff. And since it's them, since it's national security, hey, you're killing good people, but it's for national security. I mean, how twisted are things? How twisted are things? I don't even have to ask. We all know how twisted they are. What follows is an overview of some of the applications and technologies that have the greatest potential for usage in war and conflict. It is important to keep in mind that neuroscience from methodology will spread quickly across societies and create, like the internet, a new arena or battleground where conflict will take place. In the mind, a neuro war, where do targeted individuals usually fight? I mean, our bodies are getting burnt and cooked and hit, our genitals and everything, but your main fight is like with your mind, right? They're the high pitched ringing sounds, shooting visuals into our visual cortex, sending inner voice, the V2K psychic driving. It's a war of the mind, and we're not even supposed to have a chance. With the declaration of a neuro war, I mean, maybe we will have a chance because I mean, there's so many people who are going through the neuro war right now. Yeah, I was thinking of something else to say, but my attackers just completely wiped it. Okay. The greatest potential for usage in war and conflict. It is important to keep in mind that the neuroscience technology has numerous civilian applications ranging from medical health applications to recreation and enhancement, to name a few. That I already read that. The technology will spread quickly across societies and create, like the internet, a new arena or battleground where conflict will take place. The Royal Society report suggested dividing military applications of neuroscience and technology into two primary types, right? And we experience, some target individuals say they experience both. They say sometimes their attackers give them good feelings and stuff like that, but not too much. And mine just do performance degradation. And it's torture and murder and brain hobbling and mind control and everything like that. But there is another type. These weapons can do performance enhancement, make people think clearer, can put information to their mind, which I think Elon Musk is. I think that he's connected to some of this crap, and they make him kind of smart because he can pull any information that he wants out of his head. Performance, okay, which will be used here as a basic structure. Of course, all enhancement technologies can be, in principle, also used for degradation. It's a dual use. Dual use can be used for good, can be used for bad. Because technologies are not good or evil. A gun's not good or evil. It's just how you use it. Enhancement technologies. A major UK Ministry of Defense assessment of global trends speculated that a range of technological enhancements have the potential to transform human identity by improving sensory perception, physical performance, and perhaps even giving us the ability to control fear and other emotional states. And we get that as targeted individuals because I've never felt fear in my life before getting targeted. And not because I was being tortured and all that stuff, literally remote neural manipulation, making me feel new feelings that, it's fear. And like, I'd never felt that in my life. I mean, I've been kind of like stressed or whatever, but feeling fear, morbidity, right? Dr. James Adorno calls it morbidity, introducing psychological morbidity, thoughts and feelings that you don't really have or weren't as intense, right? And I don't want to say I haven't felt fear in my life before targeting, but just like the amount, the amount, it's never been like it was with targeting. We get through it, but it can. Okay, I'm forgetting what that thing just said. Let me keep reading. Okay. In the future, military commanders may have the ability to monitor and control the mental states of their soldiers, who may be able through enhancements to perform well without rest for days, to manage their emotions under stress, and to respond faster and smarter to emerging threats. There are three basic approaches to enhancement that seem to be particularly promising: neuropharmacology, brain stimulation, and brain-computer interfaces. It seems a foregone conclusion that enhancement technologies would spread quickly beyond the military and across societies that emphasize competitiveness and individual achievement. So neuropharmacology. Throughout history, militaries have drugged their soldiers to keep them happy, to master their fear, to keep them awake, and to make them better able to endure gruesome conditions. Most militaries use alcohol, caffeine, and nicotine. Yemeni and Somali tribesmen chewed khat, and Prussian soldiers were given cocaine in the late 19th century. The Nazis infamously put amphetamine under the brand name Pervitin into chocolate and handed them out to soldiers to make them fearless and more energetic, while Nazi leaders such as Hitler and Goering took amphetamines for better coping with the stress of decision making in war. The U.S. Air Force has handed out go pills, e.g., Dexedrine. I take, what's the kind that I take called? Drenamine. Okay. I was thinking that was the same thing. Dexedrine to pilots since World War II. The concept of military drug use for performance enhancement is therefore nothing new, but it has certainly become more controversial. In recent times, there has been growing concern over the routine non-treatment medication of U.S. soldiers, which has already resulted in some tragic lapses of judgment, apart from the other obvious problems associated with the long-term use of pharmaceuticals, such as addiction and permanent damage to the soldier's health. The hope is that neuroscience will develop new drugs that are both far more effective and also safer than the ones that currently exist, which would also make the medication of soldiers with psychotropic drugs more acceptable. Neuroscientists have gained over the last decades an excellent understanding of brain chemistry, which has already led to the development of many new psychotropic drugs such as Prozac, first approved by the FDA in 1987. Researchers hope to not only cure depression, PTSD, and other mental disorders, but to ultimately enhance mental capabilities through so-called nootropic drugs and special nutrition that can improve memory, cognitive functions, motivation, and attention. Well, that's interesting because they're trying to create a lot of mental illness with, neuroweapons, and with overdosing people on certain kind of medications. So it's interesting that they're saying that the researchers hope to not only cure depression, they're creating a lot of it. I think that with electromagnetic frequencies, depression could be cured because electromagnetic signals that the brain produces create chemical reactions in the brain. Chemical reactions create electromagnetic signals. So if you use the right electromagnetic signals, neuroweapons, you could turn back somebody's, you could correct somebody's chemical brain function. But instead of doing that, they're trying to destroy my brain, destroy y'all's brains, make us more depressed, make our brain more effed up, instead of just like, hey, why don't we test this stuff in a good way first, right? Why don't we use electromagnetic frequencies and we'll get volunteers who are depressed and we'll see if we can use the right frequencies over time to change the chemical function of their brain, doing a good thing with directed energy and neuroweapons instead of just how do we use this as a weapon first? How do we destroy people's lives? oh, that's what we're doing now. So let's just advance the AI and keep murdering people. And that's the means are the ends. What you start out doing is what it ends up doing. Means are the ends to people in the military industrial complex. Okay, so better computer models. Better computer models based on new methods of neuroimaging could enable researchers to better predict the effects of certain drugs on the brain. Greater precision of the drug delivery to specific areas of the brain could also produce very precise psychological and behavioral effects. Nanotechnologies could deliver drugs across the blood-brain barrier and make drugs more effective. One particular cognitive enhancement drug that is currently being reviewed by several militaries around the world is modafinil. The drug has already been approved by the FDA for treating narcolepsy and sleep disorders known under the brand name Provigil. What makes modafinil especially interesting for armed forces is its feature of improving alertness and wakefulness instead of merely suppressing tiredness. Other drugs could reduce stress or anxiety and make it thereby also less likely that soldiers will suffer from PTSD at some later point. Roger Pittman from Harvard University used the beta blocker propanol for suppressing the formation of painful memories of veterans. Soldiers could be medicated through implanted chips, which they implant chips in a lot of us, that release a variety of drugs directly into the brain, and the drug release could be activated in response to a measured brain state or through a wireless remote signal. A Massachusetts company is already patented such a drug release chip that can be inserted through. Wow. All right, guys, I gotta pee real bad. I'll be right back. New type says testing phase is over. This is about complete world domination. Yeah, I agree and disagree. Like I believe that they've tested a lot of it. They're always advancing the weapons. They're always advancing the weapons. They're always learning more about the brain. They're always learning the next level. So the testing is never over. The testing would, even when they get perfect with the testing, still continues. So the testing phase really isn't over. But I get what you're saying. Like they know enough about it now to where they're really strategically using it to just break down people and make them do crazy things. But that you got to realize, if they've got these mass manufactured weapons and they're trying to get people to commit suicide and stuff, they're still collecting data even when they're creating false flags, even when they're destroying our life. It's the data collection never stops. You know, they'll just go to the next level. Okay, we perfected this, but we want to perfect it more. They can never perfect knowing everything about the human brain in every personality in the world, right? They've got all these different personalities and cultures and everything like that, different genetics, and there's no way they know everything. That's a strength for us. I don't know. I'd talk more about that with you guys, but I don't think the testing phase is ever done. Dr. Horton says that too. She's like, I don't know if she still believes that, but she's like, well, you know, the experimentation's over. They know about the brain, you know, but testing and research never end with anything. And when they know everything about frequency and energy, they'll try and go to the next level of like quantum entanglement and stuff like that. So as somebody who, like, I mean, I know a lot about science, testing never stops. Like they do a lot of like, what's it called, like active, you know, we're going to just destroy this person, and they're probably not trying to learn anything on a lot of people, but they're still going to have a percentage of people that they're collecting information while they're destroying that person. I know for a fact the way that my attackers work, they're learning my personality, and they're seeing how they can push my belief systems, and they are collecting data on it. They're not only collecting data on just my brain and my nervous system, but they're collecting data on the type of personality I have. and how to control that certain type of personality. Because I've got a certain type of personality that's like, I think we all do. I think we have interesting personalities, non-compliant people, these people that are just robots and they're just experimenting on people. They don't get us. It's like, oh, what, this person's not quitting. I mean, we're putting them in pain. We're hurting their family. Why aren't they quitting? Well, why do they still believe in God? This is weird, you know. And they want to find out how they can control that personality more because that's a troubled personality for them. The way that you guys are in chat and I am and other targeted individuals and other non-compliant people, they've got to try and figure out how to quickly neutralize those types of people for what's to come because we're going to always want to do what's right. We're always going to believe in God. You know, we're not going to, like, even if we're being tortured, we're not going to do evil stuff. There are people that do. They'll quickly turn. When the pressure's on, they'll turn, they'll do evil stuff, they don't care, whatever. But then there's people who don't do that, and those are personalities they really need to collect data on. So I get where you're coming from, new type. I do think they already know a lot. They've done so much research and stuff. But I'm one of those people who I don't think the data collection in the research, the testing of new things, because they've tested one thing, then they go to this level, then they go to this level, and the levels never stop. The levels of control, how fast they can do it, right? They can control a person very, very quickly if they have them there and they're like in a Manchurian candidate. Now with us, it takes a lot longer for them to control a person. You know, it's not as quick. They have to traumatize their brain. They want to get that to where they can remotely tap into somebody and control them as quickly as possible. All types of personalities, though. They may have accomplished that with certain types of personalities, certain cultures, certain genetics, but they're trying to do it to every type of personality, every type of culture. So I'm just one of those people that I don't think the testing phase is ever done. I think you go into new testing phases, you get operation like you're talking about. Some things they're done testing, they've gone operational, but then they have a new testing phase on newer technologies or newer patents in differing in more different genetics and personalities, right? So I kind of see that it just never ends. The testing never ends. And it's always used as an excuse to do these horrible things. Um, we really need some concrete data on that. But the way that these contractors get money and like how much money they're getting off of the data they're collecting off of us, um, yeah, I think they you know, for national security they got to say, well, we're doing training, research, and development on these weapons, and they just keep doing it. And they just keep going to the next level. You know, I'm sure some things it's like the testing phase is over for certain types of weapons. Like for the external dudes, like if they're hitting you with an external beam, um, you know, they probably know exactly how to hit somebody, exactly that, you know, to create a certain temperature, to create a certain type of pain. Some of the things that are a little bit simpler, yeah, they're probably operational and used in the experimentation on neuro weapons and stuff like that. That's an interesting topic. I want to do a panel on that one night. Like, who thinks the testing is over and the experimentation is over, and who thinks it's still going on? Because I think a lot of people, I hear a lot of differences on that. I'll be right back, guys. Just 1 second. All right, guys, I'm back. I got people like texting me. Oh, all right, I'm back. Give me 1 second to put on my grounding, y'all. I'm gonna take a little kratom too. I think I'm gonna take white vein. I need to get some more. I really recommend this. I want to just, I know I always say it. I get mine from CBD Kratom. This is a white vein tui or something like that. The white vein can kind of lift your mood. I'm going to take like 4 right now, 4 capsules. I'm not sure how many grams they are. I'm going to take 4 right now. And then I have red and green. Red helps me to sleep, and green is kind of in the middle between white and red. Because I kind of want to get through a little bit more. I might go to 7 o'clock on this. And I know for some of you guys, this may be kind of boring. Like you're like, oh, you're just reading an article. And I promise, like when I get done with this, we'll do some things that are a little bit more fun. I don't know how fun this stuff can be, but I feel like it's important. It's really important not only for the information that gives us a bigger picture of this stuff, but it's important for some people who really do think we're mentally ill to come across channels where we're just going through concrete information. Even though I could just put out the link, right? I could just put out the link for this information and everybody could get it. If I sit there and I read it and people somehow they come across my video and they're like, well, I'll hear them out. I'll hear them reading about this article, and then they're like, wow, that's some really concrete stuff. It helps us a lot, you know. So that's why I do that. That's why I read articles and things like that. I really do need to make some more concise stuff, but it's the way everything's going with my targeting. It's easier to come on here, talk to you guys, and kind of go through some articles. But I do want to, like every chance I get, I do want to oh, I can't remember his channel's name. My attackers do that. They've like erased his channel's name from my memory. Yeah, New Type says, I agree. They are always looking for new ways to abuse people and are always collecting brain data and updating our specific AI models as well as the general AI brain model. Yeah, New Type. I just think that it goes on and on. Like I just think the experimentation goes on. Yeah, Stacy says they see everything through my eyes, so everything is monitored in great detail. Yeah. I'm just wondering, like, I wonder if the remote neural monitoring, do you guys think that they get a colored view? Do you think that when we see stuff like, so they're reading the occipital lobe or the visual cortex, do you guys think they see in color, or do you think they're getting in a kind of blurry black and white? I guess we can't know for sure. Because my thinking is, right now, I'll tell you guys, like right now, my attackers are surveilling me through the wall are. And I don't think that's in color. I think that's like kind of movie. It's either like that or it's some kind of like where they're not actually seeing in full color, right? But right now they're also, this webcam's going, so they've got this up on their screen. They've got what's up on my computer, and they probably got what they can use my webcam to actually see me. I cover up my phone right there. I cover up my phone camera, and then they see through remote neural monitoring. They read my occipital lobe, my visual cortex, probably the visual cortex, and I guess they would see in color. I guess they. What do you guys think? Wayne Moore says blue black. Yeah, they see in like blue black. I don't know. Yeah. Stacey Rose says mine is too detailed. They have to get a really clear picture. Yeah, to see what you're seeing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tansy says I think color. Tanya says ask Brian too, Colin. Yeah, that would be an interesting question to ask Brian. If he thinks that remote, I think it has color because your visual cortex is reading it with color, right? So it's just getting that signal, and the signal, the digital data from that signal would have color in it. But it's just interesting how I saw this thing on them, like a hospital was doing remote neural monitoring to a cat. And so they had the cat hooked up to stuff, and they were seeing things in the cat's perception. When the digital information was then put on the monitor, it was weird. Humans look weird because it was the cat's perception of it. So it'd be interesting, that disparity between like what you're actually seeing and what it looks like, and how it's filtered through your perception. But I guess as human beings, our perception is pretty much the same. When we see something, it looks like that. I mean, unless you went to like Woodstock and did a bunch of LSD, and then you see everything all weird and stuff like that. But I do think that if you had somebody who was messed up their brain or their visual cortex from LSD and was always hallucinating, I think that if they were remote neural monitored, the remote neural monitor would pick up those hallucinations. So it would pick up those different perceptions. I mean, those are just theories. I don't really know. Yeah, Stacy, I think you're right. I think my attackers can too. Stacy says, I'm pretty sure they can see through my eyes in detail. I've tested this many times. Yeah, mine can too. I'm just wondering, like, yeah, I mean, I guess it'd just be how we see things. Wayne Moore says, yeah, I believe they can see through my eyes too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what Stacy was saying, Tanya. Okay, hey, and Drunken Ninja's putting a Discord into chat. I'm not sure which Discord that is, but I guess it's for targeted individuals to go to and talk. And hey, politically persecuted says, yes, it's difficult to set up a group. I have not found another in Bristol, a reasonably big city, although there must be lots. I'm sure they keep us from seeing comments from local people. Wayne Moore says, stop looking at my sick mags perps. Yeah, my attackers have seen a lot. I don't care when they're looking at. Like when I'm in my place, I'll get naked and take baths, and sometimes I'll get my camera phone. I'll get my camera phone, and because I'll untape the camera on it, because they'll look through that. They can see through that phone camera, and I'll put it like right up to my my package, or I'll go around back just for them. And the V2K like really responds to it. It's different for a guy though, man. Yeah, Wayne Moore just says like I don't care either. But we gotta, I mean, like as a guy, it's like I don't really care, but I think it's different for women. I think it's a lot different. Hey, Sam Crawford says, good TI song is "This Is for My Haters" by Slim Thug. Stacey's laughing. I don't do that anymore. I used to do it more. Now I just don't care. But I used to like really, I was like, hey, y'all want to look? Y'all want to surveil me? And I would get as many things as I knew they were surveilling me through. And I'd give them a show. You know, they didn't really like it. So I don't know. You got to kind of get empowered where you can. You know? Okay, let me keep going, guys. I really want to get through this article. I'm going to put it in the description. I'm going to find some more too. Like, you guys, this article I found was just from going into Google and typing in neurowarfare. That's all I did. And this is scratching the surface, right? We really need to just go in there and do some digging and research and look into the SAIC, what they're writing about it. I'm going to be doing a lot of that. Sometimes, like I've been thinking lately, instead of just jumping on a live stream when I want to do something, I might, you know, do some research. Like if I'm not feeling too well, I might do some extensive research and then have something for, you know, another video. I've already got a lot of articles and stuff, but there's such detailed information out there, and we need to be putting it out. And I know people want to go through their testimonies, but kind of get that done, and then put your evidence out, and then but just don't just keep doing the evidence thing. Like I did vehicular stalking for years and years, and just did those videos and just talking about it. But those can be easily discredited by people who don't want to believe this stuff. Nobody can discredit this. It's written by the Air Force Academy, like this Eisenhower Center for Space and Defense, right? So it's a lot harder to discredit. Hey, Diane, you have a beautiful day too. Yeah, Wayne Moore says start those channels. Time is running out. It is. It is. Things seem to be getting worse, but like things seem to be getting worse, but awareness seems to be getting out faster. And I think there's a correlation. I think there's a correlation because the people who are running these programs, they know that time is running out for them to keep doing the experimentation without people knowing. And so they're making things worse. They're speeding things up. I think there is a definite correlation. Okay, so brain stimulation. This is the one that concerns us. Actually, the pharmacological stuff is too, because we get toxins in our environments, toxins from chemtrails and everything like that. But this is the big one for me, right? In most targeted individuals. So brain stimulation. The idea of electrical brain stimulation for therapeutic purposes is also not new. Medical doctors and psychiatrists. Oh, okay. The idea of electrical brain stimulation, that beeping when it beeps, it means the battery's about to go out. The idea of electrical brain stimulation for therapeutic purposes is also not new. Medical doctors and psychiatrists have used the electrical stimulation of the brain for treating mental illnesses since the 18th century, with electrotherapy becoming popular in psychiatry in the late 19th century. The modern electroconvulsive therapy, in which an electrical current is applied to the brain through electrodes, has been widely used since the 1940s and 1950s. Despite its frequent portrayal as a cruel form of treatment in popular culture, the American Psychiatric Association considers it safe and effective for treating major depression, schizophrenia, and bipolar disorders. Since the early 1980s, psychiatrists have developed newer methods for electrically stimulating the brain. The transcranial magnetic stimulation method applies strong electromagnetic fields of thousands of volts through a helmet-like device above the brain to activate specific brain regions. And now we know that they can actually create an electromagnetic field around the brain remotely. So they don't need something like a helmet or anything like that. They can actually shoot directed energy, and it can create, like it can hit each other and create an electromagnetic field around the head from many, many miles away, from great distances. So strong electromagnetic fields of thousands of volts through a helmet-like device above the brain to activate specific brain regions. TMS has shown promise in terms of treating depression and other mental disorders, but there are still some concerns for the safety of the treatment. TMS might improve cognitive functions, alleviate pain, and reduce the need for sleep. TMS has been demonstrated to enable external control of a person's hand movements by stimulating the motor cortex and to enable the transmission of simple information encoded Morse code directly into the brain. Now, we know that they can send digital information like to our visual cortex. It's signals that our brain that link up with our brain on our brain's wavelength, and then can put visuals, can do stuff that comes out in our inner voice and things like that, affecting different regions of the brain, right? The electromagnetic field that goes around the head affects our vestibular system, and then bidirectional stream of photonic energy, which can be electromagnetic, can be infrasound, ultrasound, they can switch it up, right? A bidirectional stream to directly manipulate your brain neurologically. And I'll show you the I need to do the MIT article where they're trickling it out to MIT, where they use phased array antennas to create an electromagnetic field around the head of a person. And then they use infrasound, ultrasound, bidirectional stream of energy to then mechanically manipulate brain functions, neurological functions. So the downside of TMS is that it requires a large coil and power source, which are difficult to miniaturize and to make portable. TMS can also not reach deeper areas of the brain and may therefore only have some limited medical applications. Other brain stimulation methods include transcranial direct current stimulation. That's what I'm using right here. And transcranial pulsed ultrasound stimulation. Both might be suitable for integration into a soldier's combat helmet and therefore of particular interest to the military. TDCS applies a weak current through electrodes to the scalp, which has shown to significantly increase the concentration and cognitive capabilities in test subjects. Direct cranial stimulation applies a weak current through electrodes, which has shown to significantly increase concentration and cognitive capabilities. Yeah, that's why I use them for these videos. I feel better emotionally. I feel like my brain works better when I'm using this. I feel like it fights the targeting, interferes with the targeting, and it also puts me in a more, I can think better. So that's why I'm always wearing them for my videos. So that actually is true. But we understand that a lot of this stuff can be done remotely, and it's done to target individuals, not necessarily to make them think clearer, but to degrade their minds, to hurt them, to damage their brain, to damage them neurologically, and to implant visuals, thoughts, whole lines of thought sometimes for me. And I know for some of you guys. Okay, go. The U.S. Air Force has already tested external stimulant technology, right? That's what, I may go ahead and replace this battery real quick. You see if I could read this while I'm doing it. The U.S. Air Force has already tested external stimulant technology to enable the airmen to maintain focus on aerospace tasks and to receive and process greater amounts of operationally relevant information. It's found that it can help pilots better pick out targets from radar images. Researchers from Arizona State University are already working on a transcranial pulse ultrasound device that can be fitted into a helmet and that could be used for controlling the mental states of soldiers, boosting alertness, and relieving pain from injuries. The pulse ultrasound would be so able to reach deeper regions of the brain. Brain stimulation methods could have numerous benefits in terms of treatment and enhancement for people across society. And the technology could spread very quickly, as indicated by the great commercial success of the TDCS device called Focus that is being marketed as a gaming device. Brain-computer interface, okay. See, okay, I think maybe what we'll do, we may get into degradation technologies, today. Directed energy weapons. See, this is all the stuff. Information software-based neuro weapons. Still pretty long. Didn't get through that much. We'll just, okay, there's the end right there. That's all the important stuff right there. Okay, let's get through this and let's get to the introduction of degradation technologies. Let me read some of y'all's chat. So who Wayne? Julie? Let's promote her channel. Hey, bye, politically persecuted versus UK. I hope you're doing good, man. Says thanks for the great info, Kyle. Keep up the good work. Bye, all. Bye, politically persecuted. Yeah, true. Drunken Ninja says transcranial. I'm still a bot on games. Trials of Hurley. Okay, Trials of Hurley. Is that a channel? Trials of Hurley. So check out Trials of Hurley. I think. Tim Greenglass says, can you dial up the morphine buzzer? I wish my attackers would give me some of that. Make my brain feel like I've taken some morphine. Okay, so Wayne Moore says she does some hard work for very few subs. So Trials of Hurley, TRIALS of HURLEY. Trials of Hurley. I'm gonna check it out, and I'll let people know about it. Okay, yeah. Drunken Ninja says, I got the device you're talking about, Kyle. It really helps me. Like it really helps, Drunken Ninja. Like if I'm feeling like really, really depressed artificially, and or anxious, it like I put it on, I can think clear. I feel a little bit happier. It's like it doesn't stop the targeting, but it does alleviate some of the really bad mental stuff they're doing. Some of the general interference and general depression and general anxiety. You know? Tell you what, man, I don't these hearing aids. Like when I go to sleep, I use Dave Case's CD, so I take them out. But when I wake up, I put them in and I keep them in because they like if I take my hearing aids out, they will just hurt my whole jaw and my cheek. Like the remote neural manipulation gets through a lot more. Can y'all hear it on the video? It makes this loud squeal. Cheryl Lewis says, LOL call, they might live stream your package. I think they do. I think that like, oh man, it's not stopping. Okay. I think that I don't think like Kevin Christian says that they just do a live stream that they get paid for or something. I don't think that's true. But I think that some of this surveillance does go to like agent provocateurs. It goes to people who are trying to maybe mess with you and stuff like that. It does. Certain people can have access to the surveillance that your microwave attackers are getting. I think my attackers are messing with my hearing aids. I think they're hitting them and making them squeal. Unreal. Okay, got it. Okay, so Tim Greenglass says, anyone know if kratom reacts to naltrexone or naloxone? I don't know, Tim Greenglass. It's a mild. It's like a mild leaf. It's like a powder from a leaf. So it is an herb. I take Ativan with it. Like I take 0.5 lorazepam with it. It doesn't hurt that. But I'm not sure about those specific medications. Oh, Drunken Ninja says, put it on different parts of the brain to get different results. I'm going to take these. I'm going to take these. Because see, this is the trigeminal nerve, right? This is the vagus and trigeminal nerve. I think a lot of people. I have to turn it down. Ringing from the hearing aids, not the tinnitus like sound my attacker's doing, got me distracted. I completely forgot what I was going to say. Completely forgot it. Just gone. Oh, I'm going to take these. I'm going to take these, but this is the trigeminal nerve. So I think that a lot of people, a lot of targeted individuals that get pain in the jaw, they get pain in the jaw. Mine's from vagus nerve stimulation, but you got to remember you have a trigeminal nerve on both sides of your head. So if you're getting jaw pain like on your right side, or they're making it feel like weird and just tight, they may be stimulating your trigeminal nerve. So with these things, I like to have it by the trigeminal nerve because that goes straight up to the brain. This is getting ridiculous. Got it. I think I got it. I think I got it. But anyway, I think I might take these though and put them on my forehead or something like that. Yeah, these are like my other hearing aids. Like they're weaker now. But these make that high-pitched squealing sound a lot more. They're a lot more sensitive to stuff. Whew. That's so annoying. And there we go. Yeah, my attackers are hitting them. That's so funny. Yeah, Stacey says, I think they love attacking the jaw. They've been doing that to me for hours. Yeah, I'm totally like I'm playing the flute here. That was not meant to be gross, but this thing will not stop squealing. It seems like it kind of interferes with the targeting sometimes. Wow, this is really annoying. It won't stop. All right, give me a second, guys. I'm putting it in the freaking ear. It goes in the ear. Now I'm picking my ear. Sorry about that, guys. Not squealing now. Up, just up, 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 up. It's like I don't want to put it in there too far. That was not meant to be gross either. Sorry. Oh, Drunken Ninja says, can you stream without them? The sound is bad. What stream? Stream without the hearing aids? Well, the sound's just bad when they squeal like that. Y'all, do y'all hear that? Is it like really loud? It's tough on my ears. Hey, Blair Bush Project. Oh, Tansy says they are trying to keep this constant thick beam on the middle of my head. Yeah. You got to get this to stop. Yeah, Tim Greenglass says some Neuralink tech goes through the jaw. Yeah, you got your like on your left side, you got the vagus nerve and your trigeminal nerve, and it goes directly to the brain, right? Your trigeminal nerve goes through the jaw, goes directly to the brain. Your vagus nerve runs through there too. And then on the other side, you have your trigeminal nerve, which runs straight to the brain. And so, and you have a cluster of nerves that run through your ear, right? That's why they hit the ear. It's a pathway. The vestibular system is a pathway to the brain. But it's really weird. Like years before I knew I was targeted, I started having horrendous problems with the left side of my jaw, like where I wasn't getting the high pitched sound, I wasn't getting B2K, but it was just came out of nowhere. Like I actually had cartilage that started disappearing in my jaw because something was wrong over on my left side, down to my shoulder, all throughout my shoulder and up here. And what it was that, like, I think that I have an implant on the vagus nerve or somewhere over that runs through these clusters of nerves. And they were able to do like remote neural manipulation and stuff without having to do the high pitched sound. They were sneaking it in through a signal, through an implant. So I still think I have an implant somewhere over here. I think some target individuals might not have any implants at all, but I think I got one really early in life, and then it's like they've just destroyed the left side of my face. And they still go there because it's like there's a lot of messed up muscles and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. Stacy says, Ella, is the ice pack helping? Hope you feel better. Ice packs an emergency, guys. Oh, you do? Tansy says, yes, I hear it, Kyle. It hurts my ears. That hurts your ears? Like just from, like, oh, wow. I just did it again. Some target individuals are going to think I'm attacking them or something. I'm not. I really need these hearing aids, guys. My remote neural manipulation will be like way worse. Like I'll start feeling pain in my back, and I won't be able to talk. I mean, I'll be able to talk, but it'll be my cheek and stuff will start getting really messed up because they'll be sending stimulation to my vagus nerve if I take these out. But since I have the noise canceling hearing aids, the noise canceling technology is flooding my inner ear, right? It's flooding it with that noise canceling technology, and it's interfering with my attackers, the frequencies that my attackers are trying to get into the inner ear to then go to the brain and stimulate my nervous system. So these things really work and are recommended by Dr. Hoffer. I'll just turn it down. My attackers are doing something. They're hitting it. It's just shoving further in my ear. Let's see this. All right, okay, let's continue. Brain computer interfaces. The ultimate, okay, wait, let's not continue. Let me have a drag of my electronic cigarette, which I'm going to stop soon. The pounding just started over there. That's my attacker is going thump, thump, thump. I've heard other people with the noise canceling hearing aids say their attackers thump it, and I'd never gotten that, but they're doing that right now. It's like thump, thump. Yeah, yeah, and heat right there. Interesting. Interessante. Interessante how these murderers are murdering us, or trying to murder us. But we're in the neuro war. We are the neuro warriors. Our minds are stronger than these lying terrorists, dog rapists, baby rapists. You know, my channel probably gets really censored by the things I say. Because I say the R word a lot. I say the P word. You're not supposed to say predator anymore. And I don't even care, you know. I do make sure to let people know that these videos aren't for kids, but maybe I should watch. I just can't. I can't watch what I say. If I'm like sitting there censoring myself, then we've already lost. You know, we have to censor every word we say while our brains are being raped. I'd rather it just get censored. That's not a good way, right? We got to be sophisticated and smart about this. I figured as long as my channel's not getting taken down, then I'm doing okay, right? Okay, so it's like 6:15 right now. Yeah, yes, I know. I didn't know if you want me to. But Stacy said, yeah. Stacy said, told you about the pulsing sounds, Kyle. LOL. Yeah, yeah. Stacy's attackers hit her hearing aids and it thumps. And they don't usually do that to me, but they're doing that right now with this one. They didn't really. When I take the other ones off, they would start hitting them to weaken the little connection to the battery. But they usually wouldn't hit them. They try and just get through them on those other ones. They're having fun with these. They're actually hitting them directly. Because I guess there's smaller mechanisms in it. They're really a lot smaller. And so they're just blasting it with directed energy. the stuff that we have to do. Me and Stacy are always talking about it. Just wrapping our heads up and stuff, putting crap in our ears, the bone conduction headphones. I swear, man, I think like, you know, maybe even today, I'm going to put these on, these transcranial stimulation things, then my hearing aids, and then the bone conduction headphones with my headgear and stuff like that. And I'm just going to be like pumping stuff into my vestibular system. That's one thing you really want to do. You want to pump stuff, good music, your favorite music, Schumann resonance, bone conduction headphones, noise canceling hearing aids, Dave Case's CD. You want to be pumping that into your ear, because the ear is one of these crossroads that our attackers use. They shoot things directly into the ears. They use electromagnetic transcranial stimulation to then send a signal from your expanding brain tissue. As it cools, it sends a signal down to your inner ear for like microwave hearing and other things. So you want to just be pumping stuff into your inner ear. Good stuff. And I'm not talking about like don't take anything solid and do that. But yeah, that seems to be one of the main ways my attackers attack me. And then I still have the question about the bidirectional stream of energy that just goes straight to certain areas of the brain. I don't know how that works. I'm sure, like, when we use defenses, we're attenuating that a little bit, but I think that's the highly adaptive scalar technology, is the bidirectional stream of photonic energy that I think is actually part scalar. I think it's like a hybrid scalar directed scalar or electromagnetic streams of energy, or infrasound and ultrasound are electromagnetic. So it'd be like scalar plus electromagnetic frequencies with the bidirectional stream. But I think the electromagnetic field around the head, I think that's pretty much the norm for targeted individuals. You got a motion compensating electromagnetic field around your head that they're creating by, what's that thing when two things come together, like they do, frequencies come together and create a field like that. So they're using those things for like the neuro weapons attacks to remote neural monitor, remote neural manipulate. Barefoot Sun Gazer says banana peels, it literally blocks EMF. I don't know, Barefoot. What? I don't know. I guess try everything. Just don't go outside with bananas on your head. Shaka Khan says bananas, that's funny. They use bananas in the beginning of my targeting. They place them everywhere. Don't know why. Yeah, Diana says, sending love and prayers of protection, safety, and good health to all. Yeah, let's all send prayers to love, safety, strength, miracles to all targeted individuals anywhere around. And anybody who's experiencing tyranny, but I think that targeted individuals, we're in the worst, most painful form of tyranny out there. Besides, like, but this is satanic ritual with people who are like being directly ritually killed, right? That's a horrible form of torture too. I guess there are other forms of torture, but mind control, rape of the mind is the worst. It's like I don't even feel like the same person I was at the beginning of this. Still awesome. We're still awesome. We're still awesome. We're just traumatized. We're just traumatized, and we'll adapt to it. We'll grow stronger with God. We'll become even better people than we were before this. And I really believe that. I'm not just paying lip service to it. I really think with God's help and each other's help and all the good people in the world's help, that we can surpass this, ascend. We can ascend into something better than we were before the targeting. But it's got to be it's a choice. It's a real choice. You can't just like be like, well, I'm not going to do anything, and I don't know how to be and just kind of wait for it to stop. We've got to take destiny into our hands, because people aren't like running to help us, but I think that we can force them to help us, right? I think that we can browbeat them and make them feel bad, make the good people feel bad for ignoring this and turning their head for so long so that they will end up helping us. But if we just wait, people aren't really clamoring to deal with this situation, right? And as a matter of fact, some people like Omni Eris are actually still trying to cover it up, even though it's like common knowledge that this stuff is happening. You got people still trying to paint people who are all experiencing the same thing, to paint them as crazy. Okay, so let's go over, like, we'll go till 7. We'll go. I'm gonna probably be up all day anyway. Got to go to the health food store and get some CBD oil. I'm just gonna try and stay up till tomorrow night. I don't know. Well, that's just my personal stuff. Trying to get back on track, on some kind of track where I can get stuff done during the day. Okay, so brain to computer interface. The ultimate goal in the development of neural devices is to build a brain computer interface that enables a person to receive information from a computer or device. And that's what's happening to us as target individuals. Like, even if your attackers are not using their brain and then syncing it to your brain waves through a computer and then sending it to like your visual cortex or your emotional center in your brain, the stuff from the AI, the automated remote neural manipulation, is coming from computers, sending a signal at your frequency to match your frequency and resonance, to mess with your thoughts, to drive your thoughts, to play this hyper game theory of the mind, right? This neurological hyper game theory. Either as a computer input device. Oh, did I read that? From a computer device, as well as transmit information from the brain to a computer, either as a computer input device or for controlling machinery. Primitive BCIs already exist. They come in 2 varieties. Invasive BCIs that require implanting an electrode or chip into the brain, and non-invasive BCIs that rely on measurements taken from outside the head. Invasive BCIs that require implanting an electrode or chip, into the brain, and non-invasive BCIs that rely on measurements taken from outside of the head. Electromagnetic, right? They can tap into the vestibular system. They can do electromagnetic transcranial stimulation, or photonic, a bidirectional stream of photonic energy, right, of different variances to actually directly affect certain parts of the brain directly, with the use of nanotechnology, Morgellons type nanostructures and stuff like that. Or this is the one that got me really depressed the other day. We have something called magnetite naturally occurring in our brain. And magnetite conducts electromagnetic frequencies. So we have that as human beings. It's been an evolutionary trait because there's electromagnetic frequencies in the earth, right? And we produce electromagnetic frequencies as human beings, right? Everything is frequency and energy. So as humans, when you're in an area where like the electromagnetic force of like the earth, it does something, you feel differently, right? Because your brain is absorbing some of those electromagnetic frequencies. They're using that. They're using something that naturally occurs in the brain to actually help this directed energy to conduct through the brain. And you can look at, I forget his channel name, I can't remember it, but it's the best channel, and I want to promote it always. I need to memorize it or put it on a piece of paper. A simulated, somebody help me out. The guy that I always shows videos, a simulated reality. I think it's a simulated reality. His channel has a lot of that information on like how the neuro weapons work, how the brain to computer interfaces work. And his channel is where I found out about the magnetite that actually naturally occurs in our brain. Now, I mean, if we just had magnetite in our brain and they were trying to use neuroweapons on us using our biofrequencies and just the natural magnetite in our brain, I don't think it would be as intense. I don't know how intense the visuals they could put in your head. I don't know how strong the signal would be. I think the signal needs like implants, nanotechnology, the Morgellons type substances to be as intense as they want it to be, to get the things done, the trauma-based mind control that they want to be done. They don't need it, but I don't know how intense. I don't know what the difference would be, right? Nice, nice. Barefoot Sungator says, hey yo, 47 humans in chat and only 15 likes. What is that? Yeah, everybody give this a thumbs up. Let me go ahead and read some more, guys. I haven't gotten through as much of this as I wanted to. Okay, the great pioneer of BCIs was Yale scientist Jose Delgado. May he rot in hell. May that man rot in hell. Like seriously, I'm not taking that back. Jose Delgado was an evil, evil, evil person who wanted human beings to not have control in society. He wanted it to be a neuro society, and that's what he was working towards with all of his experiments. Who implanted animals and also some humans with a device he called stemoceiver in the late 1960s. The stemoceiver enabled Delgado to very reliably trigger behaviors, bypassing conscious decision-making by electrically stimulating a particular area of the brain. Although he admitted that the method was generally incapable of programming new behaviors, of course, invasive methods as used by Delgado are ethically highly controversial. They could permanently affect human personality and require medically risky procedures. For this reason, invasive BCIs can currently only be considered for purely therapeutical purposes that treat an existing medical condition. For example, currently under development by DARPA is deep brain stimulation based on implanted microchips that function as pacemakers for the brain of Parkinson's disease patients and for individuals suffering from PTSD. About 100,000 patients have up to now received DBS implants, and DARPA has recently made $70 million available for further research into DBS. Another example is neuroprosthetics, in particular those implants that restore lost sensory abilities, such as cochlea and retinal implants, or that enable neural control over robotic prostheses. It's like you have a robotic arm, it sends signals to the brain sends signals back so that it can move, right? And that's what our attackers on some people, they've done this to me occasionally, but I don't get how bad some other TIs get it, where they can move their limbs, they can force speech and everything like that. And that's a part of their motor cortex. It's part of interference with the motor cortex. If my attackers do make me say stuff, it's really from remote neural manipulation, putting a thought in, and then I want to say it, and then putting the urge in for me wanting to say it. My attackers, it's like they've made my protocol very, very complicated and hard for me to pull apart exactly what they're doing. I know some stuff, but it's become very integrated with my brain. You know, the frequencies. It's been really slyly matched with my own thoughts. I attenuate a lot of it so I can tell, but it's just like these evil people had a lot of patience with me. Like they really, it's what makes me think it's what makes me think that they do have some kind of like they're not just ex-military grunts, that they may actually have some idea of the brain and things like that, psychology, or maybe still they have psychologists and neuroscientists that work with them and they report on and give the data to, and then they give them a protocol. Maybe they are military grunts, you know. I don't know, you know. We need more concrete information. The current focus of BCI research is on non-invasive BCIs that are small, transportable, and low cost. In particular, two approaches seem most promising in this respect. functional near-infrared spectroscopy, which measures changes in brain tissue associated with neuronal activity, and electroencephalography, EEG, which measures fluctuations of voltage on the scalp. EEGs are more popular with researchers who have used them in a variety of ways. It has already been demonstrated that equipped with an EEG, a paralyzed person can move a cursor on a screen by simply imagining the movement beforehand. For example, a monkey could operate a robotic arm through a BCI to get food. There are many applications for this technology. Major IT companies such as Google and Intel are working on BCIs as new computer input devices, making mouse and keyboard obsolete as early as 2020. You still use mouse and keyboard, but you're hearing from Google and Facebook how you're going to be able to put a headset on, and the computer will read your thoughts and what you want to write, right? And that's already out. It's already produced. It's already manufactured. The headset that reads in little tiny movements in your jaw, and then there's a headset that reads actually direct from the language center of the brain. Electromagnetic frequencies direct from the language center of the brain. Both of those things were produced by this extensive experimentation by the military industrial complex for weapons, but then they trickle out those uses to the consumer market, to their good little lapdogs at Google and Facebook. So I don't want anybody to think I'm insane when I say the Pentagon is directly connected with Facebook, Google, and YouTube. Some of these people from YouTube, Google, and Facebook report to the Pentagon. Like it's not elite at all. Anyway, well, I think I'm going to find more evidence of that, and stop saying it all the time. But seriously, Google, Facebook, YouTube, they're all connected to the Pentagon. Like the Pentagon gives some people in departments within Google, YouTube, Facebook, gives them orders on what they can and cannot do, and what information they will give to the Pentagon and to all of the agencies under it from their work, from people coming to their site and putting up information. So, an Air University dissertation claims it is likely that BCI technology will dominate military systems in 2032. A much more ambitious goal is to build a mind-reading device that can translate actual thoughts in a manner that a computer can understand them. For example, one could measure and catalog EEG responses to specific words and simply match brain activity to thoughts. Such research is indeed undertaken by scientists at the University of California, Irvine. Researcher Mike Desmura believes that it would take 15 to 20 years to develop thought-based communication. Special Operations Forces soldiers use the technology to silently and efficiently communicate with each other just by thinking. See? So they're admitting it right there. Special Operations Forces soldiers use the technology to silently and efficiently communicate with each other just by thinking. Hence the project name Synthetic Telepathy. So all the target individuals everybody's calling crazy or whatever, I don't think that really exists anymore. I think there's just a bunch of liars who know that this is going on, and they want to hide it because for some reason, everybody knows it's happening. Target individuals, we say we get synthetic telepathy, we get inner voice thoughts in our own, V2K and everything, right here. Admitted by the military that they're using it. It's admitted over and over and over by the people who are doing the manufacturing of the weapons, who are doing the research on the weapons. It's clear as day, no longer a conspiracy theory. It was never a conspiracy theory. And I think that this is pretty much common knowledge out in the world. Let's just start thinking that targeted individuals, because it's happening. People need to know about it. Let's just say, hey, people know about this stuff, and then if we talk to somebody about this, like, hey, do you know that, V2K exists? Somebody can put voices to your head, and they say like that, no, that's mental illness. You go, oh, you're stupid. You didn't know about V2K? It's this technology that everybody knows about, that the military is using, and that's in consumer products. So let's just start treating people like stupid idiots when they're like, oh, that's mental illness or whatever. We'll start treating them like they're behind, right? Like that they've just fallen behind and they don't know the information of what's happening in society. I think we should start using that tactic. Okay, so neuroscientist Thomas Nasolaris opined that the potential to do something like mind reading is going to be available sooner rather than later. It's going to be possible in our lifetimes. Now, it's already been going on. It's already been being used on targeted individuals worldwide for for decades. For decades, it's been being done, and so it's in our lifetimes. We want it stopped in our lifetime. So it's already happening, and mind reading is already being used like just in a lottery system. We want it to stop in this lottery system, and the technology can go on existing, but it'd be very, very policed, like how it's used and when it's used. Yeah, it needs to be. There needs to be. My attackers are taking the word. It needs to be regulated very, very profoundly. Everything needs to change, and that's what we're fighting for. Okay, although the Royal Society report claims that there are very limited prospects for a universal thought reading machine because of the uniqueness of each brain and the brain's general plasticity, tendency to change over time, right? And that's our greatest strength, our brain's plasticity. The technology does at the very least raise some concerns about the prospect of new weapons systems with direct neurological control. Yeah, it raises some concerns, but they're already doing it, and it's already proliferated all over the world. So people like are living in this dreamland, fantasy land where they're like, mind reading may be possible someday. Raises some ethical concerns, and those things need to be worked out before people start using it. In the military-industrial complex, like in 1950, was like, boom, we're going to start using this stuff, and we're going to call the people that were using it on crazy. They're already going and growing it. And then you have all these scientists and stuff. Maybe they're liars. Maybe this guy's just a liar. But you have a lot of scientists that are like, that could be possible one day, but we need to really talk about the morals first. While we're being murdered and raped in our homes, and people's children are being tortured, murdered, and raped. And get on the ball. If there are any good scientists in the world out there, which there are, know that this is happening. Speak about it as if it's happening. Let's get off of this complete and utter delusion. Oh, that's coming up soon. Oh, they're going to maybe start implanting people someday. Oh, they're maybe going to be able to read somebody's mind one day. Like, people are like 100 years behind what is happening in our society today. And we're just going to have to take it on ourselves that we live in the future, and we need to make the future the present, where people understand this stuff. Like I'm talking about targeted individuals, we live in the future. And people from the Stone Age need to catch up so that people can stop being murdered in their homes, Hey, Andrew Donat says they don't like people getting aware with this. Wisdom is now available. Yeah, man, this information is everywhere, guys. You just got to keep putting it out there. Wayne Moore says started a shitstorm on another channel. We need to start a shoot storm on Omni-Eris, and then and what's that other channel? The other channel, Degeneration Nation, because Degeneration Nation's going after TC, and Omni-Eris is going after Kevin, Christian, and a lot of other target individuals. And I'd like to go ahead and directly challenge Omni-Eris to go ahead and show some of my stuff on your channel and have me on to talk with you about this. If you watch this, put this on your channel, because like I have a lot of concrete evidence. Target individuals are telling the truth. I doubt that he will. I doubt it. I doubt it severely, because they want to pick people they can just poke fun of and stuff like that. But all right. It's out there. It's out there. The potential advantage of BCI-controlled weapons is that they could immerse soldiers better in the battle space when remotely controlling an unmanned system for better situational awareness. BCIs could also significantly improve threat detection and identification accuracy, as well as substantially reduce human response times. In particular, DARPA is developing the Cognitive Technology Threat Warning System, CT2WS, which uses an EEG that detects unconscious brain responses to potential threats appearing on a monitor and flags them to the operator. Via BCI, soldiers will be better able to control complex machinery, such as robotic exoskeletons or unmanned systems. This kind of research has already stimulated a heated debate on the legality of neuroweapons based on using a soldier's brain processes as input for detecting a threat and activating a weapon without requiring a conscious decision on the part of the soldier whose brain has been wired to the weapons. Okay, so that's all the stuff that they're saying is really good. It's good advancements, medical advancements, military advancements that are good things about brain to computer interfaces and neuro weapons that can like make the brain more efficient, can help soldiers communicate and things like that. Now we go into degradation technologies, the dual use, the stuff that's happening to all the target individuals that I know. I don't get a lot of target individuals telling me that their attackers make them feel great and stuff like that, or make their thinking a lot faster. I kind of think that people in those protocols don't really talk about it, you know. So degradation technologies. While enhancement seems to offer exciting opportunities for gaining an advantage by making soldiers smarter, they are also more speculative. As a rule of thumb, enhancement tends to be much more difficult than degradation. However, enhancement is at the focus of the academic literature since much of it is developed more or less openly, while degradation methods such as more exotic non-lethal weaponry are often portrayed as fictional or aspirational, right? Fictional, they don't exist, or aspirational, maybe someday, right? And targeted individuals are screaming at the top of our lungs, we're being hit with this stuff. It's messing up our brains. It's putting crap in our brains. Voice to skull and stuff like that. And everybody's like, maybe one day that might be true. No, now it's true. Now we're being killed in our homes and people's children are being tortured. Now, happening now. FAS researcher Stephen Aftergood has mocked the Pentagon over its excessive secrecy in this respect, suggesting that it could allow little more. Oh man. Hold on one second, guys. I should have started on this part and then gone back and read the beginning. What I might do, I'm going to read a little bit of this for like the next 15 minutes, and then I'm going to come back on my next live stream and just start at degradation weapons, degradation technologies, and do this over. Okay, so, oh man. Okay, suggesting that it could allow little more than mumbo jumbo to prosper in the closed off world of black projects. The reality of secret non-lethal weapons is probably more complex. Regardless of what may or may not exist at the present time, there is clearly a potential for future neuroscience-based non-lethal weapons that could be best described as neuroweapons, sometimes referred to as RF weapons, psychotronic weapons, or influence weapons. Robert McCreight suggested the following definition. Neuroweapons are intended to influence, direct, weaken, suppress, or neutralize human thought, brainwave functions, perception, interpretation, and behaviors to the extent that the target of such weaponry is either temporarily or permanently disabled, mentally compromised, or unable to function normally. Sound familiar, targeted individuals? Does that sound familiar to anybody making fun of targeted individuals? About maybe how we look while we're being attacked by microwave weapons, by neuroweapons? Does it sound familiar? And it's Robert McCray. I'm sure he's like ex-military or something, or a professor, and is not just talking about conspiracy theories. He's talking about weapons that actually exist, that are being used on target individuals. That are being used all around the world for many different reasons. Um, these weapons generally target the human brain and the central nervous system. They can impact on mental and emotional states, mental capacity and response times, and potentially higher cognitive functions supporting thought, perception, memory, and learning. These effects could be achieved through a variety of means: biochemical agents, directed energy weapons, and even information software, going beyond normal psyops. So that would be the information software mixed in with directed energy weapons, right? So that would be the neuro weapons that actually put stuff in the visual cortex or put whole lines of thought or emotions into the brain. You know, from my research, it takes a lot of trauma for that to work correctly. It takes a lot of trauma, and you got to be real tired. And then these you know, neuro weapons work better on your brain. Um, so let's read biochemical agents first. Then directed energy weapons. Still got a ton more. Well, that's not that bad. Okay, let's read biochemical agents. Most of the publicly available information about offensive neuroweapons currently relates to the potential use of biochemical agents as incapacitants and potentially for otherwise influencing the behavior of an adversary. While chemical and biological warfare are internationally outlawed, there are several legal gaps that could allow the usage of biochemical neuroweapons in specific contexts. A frequently cited case is the use of the opioid fentanyl by the FSB during the Moscow theater siege in October 2002. The chemicals were intended to put the Chechen terrorists to sleep, which also accidentally killed 128 hostages out of over 800 because of a delayed and wrong medical emergency response. Nevertheless, researchers have made the claim that biochemical calmatives and malodorants could play an important role in future conflicts as a non-lethal technique and could provide a humanitarian alternative to the use of lethal force. Militaries around the world have shown interest in biochemical incapacitating agents for counterinsurgency and counterterrorism operations. Biochemical incapacitants could be dispersed from the air or covertly introduced into the water and food supply to assist in winning the hearts and minds, right? And James Giordano says that a lot, you know, and you know, I think we pretty much know that biochemical agents are being sprayed through chemtrails and are being put into people's water, into people's food, into GMOs. And it's a form of mind control. It's a form of winning the hearts and minds of the public, or just the minds, really, because I think our hearts just reject anything that's so evil. Um, in neutralizing various threats within the population. This is in principle a very old idea that goes back at least to 1949 when psychochemical warfare was proposed by Army Chemical Center scientist L. Wilson Green. There could be a range of new neuropharmaceuticals under development that could produce relatively predictable behavioral effects and could prove suitable even for large area psychochemical warfare attacks. One biochemical agent that seems to have caught the interest of the military is the neurohormone oxytocin, which is naturally produced by the brain and stimulates love or trust. Oxytocin could be used for manipulating adversaries into temporarily trusting us and thereby reduce the occurrence of resistance. Oxytocin is commercially marketed as liquid trust. The US military even investigated the possibility of a gay bomb, which was meant to distract enemy forces by inducing sexual arousal and disrupt morale. Even a zombie bomb is imaginable. The alkaloid drug scopolamine, also known by its street name Burundaga, can put people exposed to it in a highly suggestible state in which they lose their free will. Bioethicist Jonathan Moreno seems to be also concerned about future brain-targeted bioweapons that could alter behavior. Genetic bioweapons have been a concern for some time, but a new non-lethal twist could be added to them. Microbiologists have recently discovered mind-controlling parasites that can manipulate the behavior of their hosts according to their needs by switching genes on or off. Since human behavior is at least partially influenced by genetics, non-lethal behavior modifying genetic bioweapons that spread through a highly contagious virus could thus be in principle possible. And Dr. Giordano talks about, and Dr. Hoffer talked about these kind of things, right? These biochemical things, toxins mixed with the weapons, right? So this would be put in your environment, or something could be sprayed in chemtrails, right? That interacts with the directed energy weapon attacks, with the neuro weapon attacks. So they're putting together biochemical attacks, biochemical weapons, biochemical attacks and toxins alongside the neuro weapons attacks and directed energy weapon attacks, mixing those things. And that's why a lot of target individuals may experience different sensations, some different things, because different toxins, biochemical toxins, could be being used and then mixed with directed energy weapons and neuro weapons. Dr. Hoffer said that was the key to understanding this. That is the key to understanding what they're doing with this stuff. Okay, so we'll read this one. It's about 6:50. Hey, good night, Wayne. You guys are still here. Thanks for staying, y'all. Let's go ahead and read this last section, guys. Tansy says, Lather, we don't get to hear about them. I'm yet to hear a TI admit to being an expert. Yeah. Have we? What about Brian Coffin? Brian Coffin said he was. I got it, but my story about Brian Coffin, I don't know if I want to go into that right now. I hope what he was saying was the truth. I know he was a targeted individual, but I just hope that his story is true. I'm definitely not going to go in that right now. But Brian Coffin did say, that he worked for this security company and did certain things, but he didn't necessarily use the weapons. He knew about the weapons, right? I'm trying to think of anybody else that said they're an expert. I think that if an expert, like somebody who used these weapons, did come out and speak about it, they would go to jail. There are specific things that even Dr. Robert Duncan will not say, because he said he doesn't want to go to Leavenworth. So there are specific things that he kind of stays away from. Okay, so let's read this last one. I'll finish it off on my next live stream, which will be either Tuesday or Wednesday or something, like maybe sooner. We'll just kind of see. Directed energy weapons, right? That's what we're being hit with. DEWs are no longer the stuff of science fiction, but have already been gradually transitioned to the battlefield. Not when they're being used in every community remotely and causing awful violence in communities and people to be murdered in their homes and tortured in their homes, and they're even using them on kids. They've not been gradually transitioned to the battlefield. They're turning every community into a battlefield, is what they're doing. And they're being used just on everybody. They're just being used on, like, this person knows somebody that is in the program, like somebody who knows about the program and can put people in. I met them, and so we're just going to start attacking them now. Or maybe you're ex-boyfriend or girlfriend of somebody who is involved in these programs, or maybe you just go to the hospital to get a surgery and you get implanted, and then you're in the program because the hospital had a relationship with a contractor. You know, it's many different things. Whistleblower, you're a whistleblower, so you get targeted. It's all different reasons, a bunch of different reasons. Um, so they form a very broad class of weaponry, which includes any type of weapon that uses energy for producing a weapon's effect. Most importantly, lasers, high-powered microwaves, non-nuclear EMP, high-energy radio frequency weapons, and also sound or acoustic weapons. Although much of DEW research is secret, especially when it comes to anti-personnel DEWs, there are a couple of weapon systems that have, although much of DEW research is secret, I wonder why. It's not secret. I'm talking about it right here. Everybody in my chat is being experimented on. It's no longer a secret. We can't just pretend when people say they're being attacked by directed energy weapons and neuro weapons, we can't pretend they're mentally ill to keep the secrets of a corrupt military industrial complex that is murdering people willy-nilly and torturing people willy-nilly. That is asinine. It's the worst idea for humanity or any country ever. And it's not a solution to just pretend this isn't happening and pretend do research is all secret. Oh, targeted individuals are mentally ill. Okay, well, we've just, what? We're saying we're being hit by them, that's happening. It's do weapon research on me, in my home, on these people in my chat. So it's real and it's really happening. So it's not secret. It's not secret just because certain people want to keep something secret and people are talking about it. You can't just call them mentally ill. That's like having no backbone for anybody in this country or any other country. As a human being, it's having no backbone, especially when children are being tortured and experimented on. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. That's why we're fighting it. There are a couple of weapon systems that have been presented to the public and that are operational. For example, it is documented that it is possible to induce motion sickness, nausea, disorientation, and seizures through stroboscopic dazzling lights, the bokeh effect, or to produce similar effects using certain acoustic or radio frequencies. The Department of Defense has developed various laser dazzlers that temporarily blind adversaries. Recently, a company has patented a new type of stun gun that overstimulates the brain with bursts of lights and thereby disorients people for up to 20 minutes. The DoD has also developed acoustic weapons such as long-range acoustic device, or LRAD, that can produce sounds that are still painful at a distance of 100 meters. Another example is the active denial system, which uses microwaves of 95 gigahertz to create a burning sensation on the skin over a distance of at least 300 meters, and which can force hostile crowds to disperse. Other anti-personnel DEWs are up to now more hypothetical. Are they? Everybody in chat, are these weapons hypothetical? I find great insult from this person writing this article that the anti-personnel DEWs that are remote, that are torturing children, torturing my family, torturing y'all's families, torturing y'all, torturing me, are hypothetical. I find great insult to that, and I do not want to live in a world where something that people are saying is still considered hypothetical because people just think that they can sacrifice random people. That really pisses me off, just that sentence. Other anti-personnel DEWs are up to now more hypothetical. A frequently cited declassified Army document that summarizes some research into biological effects of non-lethal weapons indicates that microwaves could be used for transmitting sounds directly into brains, the so-called Fry effect. It's not hypothetical to me. This whole live stream, I have had the Fry effect. I've had microwave hearing of the V2K chatterbox going, sounding like it's coming from the whole live stream that I've been talking. And you targeted individuals know that. It's not hypothetical. Like, it's happening. It's happening to tons, millions of people around the world. It's just, man, it's just so, you really can never get over this, how cowardly the world is. Like how cowardly even like good people around the world, because they just don't want to deal with it, they'll allow people to just be tortured forever. It's you just never it'll never sit, you know, it's never get used to it. Frequently cited declassified Army document that summarizes some research into biological effects of non-lethal weapons that indicates that microwaves could be used for transmitting sounds directly into brains, the so-called Fry effect, or for causing pain or death when the brain is targeted due to the thermal effect of microwaves. Jonathan Moreno also claims electromagnetic waves may be used to disrupt an enemy soldier's nervous system to cause epileptic seizures or to warm their body fluids as though they were inside a microwave oven. In the 1980s, animal experiments with directed energy weapons have shown promise in terms of affecting mental states, changing EEGs, and behavior. The possibility of radio frequency weapons that target the brain has been discussed more openly back in the 1980s. And I wonder why the discussions aren't as open nowadays. Maybe it's because millions of people across the globe are being tortured. Many American citizens are being tortured by these weapons, and they didn't want it out in the public, like too much public discussion, because then the public would stop this, because so many people would know about it. References to them still appear in a few military publications and declassified documents, which suggest that research into this technology continues. Yeah, and everybody in this live stream can confirm that research into this technology and just destruction of a lot of human beings, innocent human beings, continues to this day, because the people going to the rallies and the people making live streams, the people making videos, and the people, you know, sending out emails to try and stop the torture, the 24-hour-a-day torture, are very, very real. They're very real people. You know, they exist. And we get people like this, who he's in the Air Force Academy and he wants to speak about this stuff as if it's hypothetical because he's a coward. Analysis James Dunegan claimed that there are radio transmitters that jam and short circuit the human nervous system. This temporarily disables people the radio beams are aimed at. So he claimed that there are radio transmitters that jam and short circuit the human nervous system. Yeah. This temporarily disables people the radio beams are aimed at. Microwaves could also be used for inducing sensory hallucinations over distance. For example, a voice of God weapon that projects voices directly into the heads of individuals in support of psyops could be possible and has been referred to on a U.S. Army website. It has been reported in the press that previous research has shown that low frequency waves or beams can affect brain cells, alter psychological states, and make it possible to transmit suggestions and commands directly into someone's thought processes. High doses of microwaves can damage the functioning of internal organs, control behavior, or even drive victims to suicide. In the future, it might be possible to influence moods and mental capacity of people in a larger geographic area using the electromagnetic spectrum, and thus induce passive, peaceful, riotous, or any other desirable behavior, which they've been doing that for a long time, and they're trying to perfect that too. They're trying to perfect that too, affecting entire communities, entire populations. That's why, guys, as target individuals, we need to stop talking about this. And this is me too. I've gotten conditioned to being like, oh, TIs, blah, blah, blah. But no, like whole communities, and they're putting out 5G and everything. I don't know if y'all saw this new 5G commercial with Bill Nye. I tell you what, man, I tell you what, if that's the state of the world, we all better speak up. Bill Nye, who's not even a scientist, is saying all this BS about 5G that doesn't even tell you what it is. The only thing that he said that had any value in the video where he's talking about it is like, it goes through walls. Yeah, it goes through walls a lot better than 4G. We got to start talking, because this is everybody. Everybody's getting targeted. We're not alone. Like that's one thing I'm kind of coming to terms with, is that we're not just a little group of targeted individuals, not just millions of people worldwide. The whole population of the world is being targeted. So everybody's just got to speak out about it. So we're getting to information software-based neuroweapons. which is, the one that I really want to talk about. That's the thing that I'm most affected by. My B2K, and then they're actually, making changes to my brain, my mind, putting whole lines of thought in. Some of the stuff is very difficult to attenuate or to know if I'm attenuating it. Um, so let's get to that next time. I may read the directed energy weapon thing next time, but it's like 7 o'clock here, guys. Y'all are still with me? Andrew Dennett says people who decide what's available to consumers. Books written by Richard Thaler and Cass Sunstein. Yep, yeah, Cass Sunstein is very evil. Blair Bush Project says, isn't it interesting that emergency blankets we use for these emergencies, and we use foil to cook and to keep from being cooked? Yeah, that is. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot better stuff to use though, guys. I really get Dave Casey. I'll just say that again. Lather says the disinfo agents are rampant. Oh my God. Yeah, Tansy says, Kyle, can you please say happy birthday to Jeanette Dizette? Jeanette, happy birthday. I hope you have a good one. I hope you have a good birthday even with this targeting. Try and keep your mind off of it and do something that you love. Um, and I hope by your next birthday, things have changed a lot, from us being targeted. And thank you, Jeanette Dizette, for coming to all my live streams and stuff like that. And thank you for all your comments and everything. And just happy birthday. Everybody tell her happy birthday in the chat. Thank you, Barefoot Sungazer. That Vulcan Wolverine, you are the best reader ever. Yeah, I kind of have to read stuff sometimes. Because like they really mess it up when I'm trying to just grab my own thoughts and just talk. Like I'll forget a lot of stuff, but I can't. It's like reading is hardwired into me. So it's one of those things. I find that if something is hardwired into us, our attackers have a very difficult time of messing that up. Like I've read since I was a very young boy, and I loved reading, and I read all the time, and it's kind of just like hardwired into my brain. It's not something that it's kind of like riding a bicycle, right? So I can be attacked, and like they can be messing with my brain, but I remember how to read words, Unless they decide to you start a protocol where they mess that up too. Okay, and Drunken Ninja keeps putting in the Discord link for targeted individuals. So you guys check that out and copy and paste it. Okay, Barefoot says, I'm sending you V-Day energy, and to everyone, I send my hope and prayers for all TIs, the chance to feel comfortable and at peace, just being in your own body for extended period of time, like we used to feel. Yeah, even if we can just have it for a couple of hours a day, just feel comfortable in our own bodies. Ella Advocate says, and thank you to Kyle. You're the glue to this group. Thank you, Ella Advocate. Yeah, I like it so you guys can come in and chat with each other. And just, I know for some people, just reading an article is kind of boring, but it's really important information. If we just we can put together the puzzle pieces, targeted individuals should have a good idea of why this is happening to you by now. Like they use justifications, like the system uses justifications down on the level where they're picking targets. But as it goes higher up, the bigger reason for these things is experimentation, is training, research, and development with PSYOPs, neuro weapons, directed energy weapons, and stuff like that for contractors under a lot of different agencies. And then, of course, you've got, all the DHS Fusion Center and gang stalking stuff that's fed into it to discredit us. And it's also, we're fed into this system to justify more surveillance, to justify more, more armies of private citizens working for DHS Fusion Center and InfraGard. It's a buildup. It's a cycle. And as target individuals, we should know that by now. Human life works in cycles. Things go bad in a cycle. Things get better in a cycle. So in your individual life, think about that. Almost think about it like this. Don't think about this stuff as destroying your brain cells, your body. You know, it's damaging our body. Think about it like this. Think about that you're a magnet. And when you were born, your pole, right? You have a pole, a certain pole with a certain polarity, right? And let's say that polarity, the positive's over here, right? The negative's over here. Well, this program and all these neuro weapons and directed energy weapons, it kind of flipped your pole to this negative side. And so the cycle keeps going negative. But we got to find a way, and say the middle's here, you got to find a way to cross that threshold where you're where you flip your pole back. You flip it back to positive, and then you can catch that cycle, that positive cycle. More probability for good things happening. Your connection with God will be greater. God will help you to get to that other side. But think about it as your pole's been flipped. And you're on the negative side. Then things they're getting worse and worse and worse. You got to find ways to get that cycle to the positive part where you flip your pole back around, right? Because we're electromagnetic beings, and this stuff is trying to resonate at a low resonance. It's trying to flip our pole the wrong way. I feel like that's a good way to think about it, because if you can get your pole flipped back around to a positive side, and that's not saying everything is good, right? You're still going to go through targeting, still going to hurt a little bit, but if you can get some defenses, positive thinking, get with God, get to that side, then you can start working off of that side. You start that positive cycle no matter what's happening to you or what is happening in the world. You can always do good things for people. You can always help people. You can always be positive in some way, even if you're crushingly depressed. Like I have crushing depression, crushing anxiety sometimes. Still do positive things in life. I can still get my butt into a positive cycle, you know, because I make sure I flip my pole back. They try and flip my pole to the negative side, make everything go wrong and stuff like that. You got to get over here. Got to flip that pole to your most positive and then work off of that cycle, you know. And I feel like on a larger scale, these agencies, military industrial complex, the Pentagon, further up the top of the pyramid, they're trying to flip the pole of humanity to negative resonance, to low resonance. We're killing each other, we're hurting each other. People decide to go kill and hurt people and do bad things, and it'll devolve us. You know, we won't be going in the right direction. Everything will kind of be going wrong for humanity. Everything will be getting crazier, right? And they're doing that with the help of these weapon systems, these targeting programs, widespread targeting of communities. It's bad for humanity, and anybody listening to this video, even if you're using the weapons on people, it is bad for you. Like, this is bad for you. I look over that way because the V2K seems like it's coming from this way. This is bad for everybody. It's bad for the next generation and the generation after that. The only people that it's good for is that very top of the pyramid. And they want to kill a lot of people in this world. I don't see how even for them it's good. Yeah, thanks, Barefoot. Yeah, it's a pretty, you know, just flip your pole back around. Tansy says, Lather, ours comes from the very top all the way to the bottom. I can't say exact names, it's too dangerous. I can only say basics. Do you know who is targeting you? This is my thing. You know, I'm pretty sure I got my initial implant at Ochsner Hospital when I was 12. Ochsner is very connected to the CIA. So I think that I have a contractor that's under either the CIA or under the NSA. And because of the extensive state of the neuroweapons attacks, and they're very patient with trying to change my personality and pushing certain beliefs and stuff like that, I kind of I'm leaning towards a contractor under the CIA or DIA in my case, but it could be under the NSA. I'm not sure. I think it's Arcadis. I think Arcadis is the contractor targeting me. I know that it's either under the NSA, CIA, or DIA. I'm not under one of the like the Army, Navy, Marines, or any of their contracts for testing these weapons. I'm under NSA, CIA, or DIA, and a contractor under those people. And I'm hypothesizing that because of Oshner's long-term relationship with the CIA. The CIA has the DIA with it, so I'm leaning over more that way. And the way that I was targeted for so long before I even knew I was targeted, like remote neural manipulation that like I didn't know they were messing with my decisions back in college, even before college and high school and stuff like that. So it was very, very, really bad, really bad stuff. Oh, I got this. I hate this thing. Hey, generation. Okay, new product for protection is called 5G BioShield. I'm gonna write that down. 5G BioShield. Generation has tons of good information. 5G BioShield. Well, maybe soon just hang out and go through defensive stuff, and y'all can just so we can have these just live streams. But I do want to do a web page with some stuff on it. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Jackie Kelly says you can buy it at Dollar General. Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Generation. Anything, man. Anything that can protect us from 5G. Look up Bill Nye 5G. Look at the new commercial for T-Mobile. It's ridiculous. Like the guy is ridiculous. He's an actor. They've gotten him to speak out about global warming, and now they're getting him to speak out about 5G, and he doesn't say anything about it. He just says like, "Ooh, it makes this sound on this band, and it makes this sound on this band." This one's going out too. I have to turn this thing off. All right, guys, I love y'all. Thank you for coming. Thanks for staying up so late, and I'll finish this probably. Maybe I don't know about today. The next time I get on a live stream, we'll finish this off. We'll go through it and we'll talk some more. Yeah, okay. And Drunken Ninja saying if you want to talk after the live stream, he's putting in a Discord link. So check that out, guys. Yeah, Target Maryland 2019 says I've seen the 5G for T-Mobile. Ridiculous, completely ridiculous. That man should not be speaking on anything in society that has to do, like, especially 5G, which is so dangerous to every man, woman, child, and plant on the earth, insect, bird, everything, all life on the planet. That guy, I don't know why they're getting him to talk about anything. And he'll do it. He'll talk about whatever they want and say whatever they want for the money he's getting. I don't think any real scientist, no real scientist, even if they were doing bad stuff, I don't think could make a commercial like that where they're just like, oh yeah, 5G is cool. It makes these different noises. And they have all these mannequins in the commercial, which kind of give you a feel like, those old, those towns that they would make for the nuclear bombs. They would create these whole communities with mannequins in them, like in Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, or Crystal Kingdom of the Skull, or Kingdom's Crystal Skull, or Skull of the Crystal Kingdom, where they had the towns that, and this is in real life, where they had the towns where they do the mannequins and stuff, and then they hit it with a nuclear bomb. When the 5G commercial with Bill Nye, they have all these mannequins that they're like showing the 5G around the mannequins. It's like they can't even put real people in the commercial to show the 5G bands around them, because it would give people this thought of, oh my God, that's microwaves engulfing people. It's ridiculous, just ridiculous. You want to watch it? Lather says Kyle names who runs these programs like the DHS, InfraGard, NSA, CIA. Yeah, you got a pyramidal structure, guys. So the people who are doing this to you might be a contractor under naval intelligence or under the Army or under the CIA or the NSA or DIA. But then you got this pyramidal structure. You got all these little front company contractors, right? And private security companies, and then you've got like the DoD, DIA, CIA, NSA. But you got FBI over here and DHS running the fusion centers and InfraGard and everything, and they're all they work together, right? But then above this level, DoD, CIA, NSA, I said CIA. Then you got like DARPA and the Pentagon above that, right? And that's like another layer of it. Then above that, what you got the CFR, other organizations that I don't even know. And then above that, you've got the top of the pyramid. So it's all set up in a pyramidal structure, like all this death and all this research and everything. And it also includes hospitals that are attached to certain agencies, and they have contractors that are attached to them. And then you've got the consumer market, right? Like Google, Facebook, and everything like that. And they're all tied in. It's kind of like a pyramidal web. Yeah, everybody, give this video a thumbs up. I think this is a good article. And I'm going to read the rest of it on my next one. And then we'll do something a little bit more, for the one after that, for my live stream after that, we'll do something a little bit more involved, where everybody can kind of be involved, either a panel or we're going to talk about, I don't know. I'm going to figure something out. All right, guys, I love y'all. Thank you, Tansy. Tansy says Kyle's live streams are the best. I know reading an article sometimes isn't fun, but I'll do some other stuff too. All right, I love you guys. Y'all have a great night, okay? Love y'all. Just stay safe. Try some defensive things. Stay strong. Get with God. Number one, get with God. Let me say a little prayer. I'll say a little prayer to end it out. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ, dear Lord, please give every TI strength and hope. And put something in their path to help them. Put many things in their path to help them. Just continue to give us miracles every day. Please give people in this country and every other country a backbone to stand up and speak out against this horrific death, globally, from 5G and from direct targeting. Lord, just thank you for the lives that you've given us. Thank you for this miracle of life that you've given us. Just give us strength and give us an ending to this program soon. I want to pray big to you right now, God. Please end this program as soon as possible. Please, please, please end this program. In the name of the Father, and Son, and Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for coming. Just stay in faith. What did David say last time that I really like? Just persevere in faith. Persevere in faith and strength. God will give us the strength. So I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.